Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the sex, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Joggle beat. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Ordinal's the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin and crypto ecosystems. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live another OnChain hour, and this one is going to be nuts, guys, because no one is talking about it besides us. And what is that? That is this 10-week bull market. I said it yesterday. I'm saying it again, guys. We are about to enter a 10-week bull market. The best part, no one's going to realize it for 2 weeks. So you have about 2 weeks right now to get the assets you want, the assets you believe in, the assets that will 100,000x, right? We got to find them. And we got 2 weeks to do it, but we're going to help you do that. We're going to help you find those assets and make sure that you're holding the right stuff to maximize your gains, to maximize your opportunity, right? Because that's all that's the entire point of our show, to maximize our viewers' opportunity. If we can help you find the opportunity, the choices are all yours. Then you get into decisions and consequences of those decisions. And we're hoping those consequences are lots and lots of money. But that's our show today. We have a great guest today. We have Raul from Fluid Tokens. They're building on Cardano. They're building on Bitcoin. They're actually even building somewhere else. And we're going to talk about that. And then later today, we got the great Adam McBride. Yes, Emblem Vault. But we're going to talk a little about bells as well. Hit him with that. So if you're a bells guy, we know S in the chat always hear about bells. We're going to talk a little about bells later. And we'll definitely get into Emblem and everything they're doing with their AI product. And what's next, right? That's the big thing. What's next? And this Sunday, we're going to be doing a tutorial, complete walkthrough on how to use AI Hustle. So look out for that on Sunday. But without further ado, let's get the show started. Bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? Am I crazy for this 10-week bull run thing? I'm the only one saying it. But
I think it's pretty brave to do that right now, right? But look, I see why you feel this way. Yeah. And there's probably a lot of people that say you should probably feel the other way. But, you know, there's a lot of catalysts, like I've been mentioning, to kind of propel us into something that's bullish. Now, again, people aren't going to buy into it probably until we're already in it for about a week, because they need to get into that actual belief stage. And by then, you can still do well, but you're not going to do well as if you were preparing for it earlier. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is all, it's a risk on industry that we're in right now, right? So it's kind of like a risk industry, speculative. But the point is that, like, you can take advantage of opportunities. We never tell you guys what to do with your funds or anything like that. That's all on you guys. What we do is we bring the information and research for you guys, and hopefully we all make out like bandits, and that's the goal.
Yeah, man. What are you preparing personally? What are you preparing for going into this maybe potentially 10-week bull run? Where I mean, you have right now you have 2 weeks, in my opinion, to accumulate. I think we're hitting $95,000 Bitcoin next week, and then 105,000 the week after, and that's will lead right after the tariffs go in, where the market is forward looking. So I believe the next 2 weeks we're going to see all-time highs. But what are you preparing for personally to kind of get ready for that?
So I have prepared a little bit more into some of these safer runes, the established ones, right? Like dog has been getting a lot of attention in terms of people talking about Kraken, putting hints out there. We've seen this before though, but the difference this time is they're starting to say, hey, we're taking our listing process in a different direction. We're not necessarily going to be just listing random stuff that just gets a lot of short-term volume, more, established communities and let the community speak on it. And that's exactly what Dog Go to the Moon is, right? And so stuff like that got some more Billy, and then, I'm taking a look at some other ecosystems a little bit, maybe a little bit picking up a little bit more Tau itself, not necessarily alpha tokens, because I feel like that's definitely a lot more risky, but stuff that's more established, less risky within each kind of prominent sector of our space.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've been picking up some runes lately. Trying to make sure my bags are packed with them, because I look back at November, right when the Trump pump happened, and runes were one of the bigger winners in that pump, and I think we're going to repeat that a little bit, right? So maybe for me, kind of getting into some potential AI tokens, I haven't really identified the ones that I'm looking at yet. I'm just kind of right now, I'm just trying to pay attention more a little bit and start to watch some videos and prepare myself for that. But as of right now, I'm preparing with Dog, with Billy, with with the rune stuff that potentially could pop first, and then maybe take profits and move those profits to other assets, maybe some AI type of assets.
Yeah.
It's kind of my mindset right now.
Yeah. I'm also looking at some BRC20s as well, honestly,
Yeah.
because we're going to go over something later in the show that I think is going to shock a lot of you guys. So make sure you're hanging out, for the entire episode, because there's something that's probably going to surprise you, because it definitely surprised us last night when we went over it.
Yeah, man. Well, here's somebody who's always preparing for a bull run. Michael Saylor. Strategy increases its STRF preferred stock offering, initial from 500 million to 722 million, which means Michael Saylor is about to pocket 222 million new dollars that potentially could be bought for Bitcoin. Possibly Monday morning, we're waking up to another Michael Saylor buy. Have you become numb to Saylor buys at this point?
Sort of. Last
Yeah.
buy was a smaller amount, I think,
Yeah.
but I do expect it, right, to come up now, because if I forgot how much was it, like 83 million or maybe 18. I gotta go back and see.
Amount.
It was a small amount that kind of shocked us a little bit. It's not his usual kind of purchase, right?
Yeah.
So if he's willing to spend that small amount on it, then it looks like he's kind of just scrounging up like capital where he can, right? Like in his couch or whatever. But so I expect a purchase on Monday, but I have become kind of numb to it, because it doesn't necessarily like move the market too much. It does sometimes, if it's a large purchase and everybody's pumped about it, but it could be something that is a part of the spark, right, to kick things up.
Yeah, 100%. It seemed like the last buy was like one of his workers, or someone that works there was like, "Hey, we found $18 million in this one account. Buy Bitcoin." Like that's kind of how it felt, right? So it was like, yeah. But we'll see what happens Monday. I'm kind of expecting him to post the Sailor thing that he posts, is like Sailor tracker, and then on Monday morning come out with the buy. But we'll see. Here's something absolutely huge. The SEC confirms that Bitcoin and proof of work mining are not considered securities under the U.S. law. Decision provides a long-awaited clarity for miners. Miners can now, be protected and actually do some stuff they weren't able to do before, because they didn't have the clarity that they now have. Now they're able to take possibly more loans out to get more miners. They're able to do a lot of things with this clarity that I think a lot of people didn't realize they weren't able to do. I looked into this a little bit this morning, but banks weren't willing to give them loans because they were always afraid of potentially them getting kind of shut down in the U.S. anyway.
Yeah. This is gonna be very, very interesting. This is basically saying that you said banks weren't holding Bitcoin because of this reason. Is that the reason
No,
why?
no, 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 no. So banks weren't giving them loans. They weren't eligible for
Oh,
loans
the
because
miners.
of the miners weren't
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to
yeah.
go to the banks and actually get loans to buy miners. So what
Gotcha.
they were doing is they had to use their own capital,
So
and that
that's
or
where I was
sell
confused
stock.
because I
Yeah,
I thought the banks were the ones that were, okay, so this makes sense. So they've gotten through that whole, how many ever years they've been in business as a mining company without
yeah,
getting loans a traditional way,
yeah.
right? And so some of these companies have turned into that doesn't mean they didn't get investment. A lot of them did get investment,
They
right?
got
Because they went public.
investment,
Yeah.
but they couldn't actually
Not
take
the tr-
loans out. They had to sell their company
Do
in
you know who
weight.
that hurt the most? In my opinion, it hurt the small and medium-sized miners that
Yeah,
really didn't have a chance to catch up to the bigger ones that said, "Hey, look, we have all this capital, we have all these
yeah,
warehouses," and then investors went to them
yeah,
versus the small and medium-sized ones that could have benefited from being able to take a traditional loan from the bank, right? So
yeah,
that stinks because it was like that wasn't really true capitalism at that point, to where it was a fair game. And sometimes capitalism does run that way once
yeah.
it gets so big. But yeah, but this is good. At least they are kind of unraveling some of the nastiness that has been, I guess, thrown our way the past,
Yeah.
10 years.
And now the miner can also take loans against their Bitcoin as well, right? So I think they were previously doing that as well in the past, but now they can take out business loans and they can still take out loans for Bitcoin. The miners can really start upping their Bitcoin miners buying, right? And which is going to do what for the hash rate? Hash rate go up, price action usually follows. So this is bullish.
Yeah. No, this is definitely bullish. I'm excited about this. And don't be shocked if you start to see mining companies, large ones that have their hands in multiple different areas of the crypto
Yeah.
industry, because once you get that like robust and strong as a company, like the Maras, the riots and stuff like that, you start looking elsewhere of how you can bring revenue in, and you just become this
Yeah.
huge conglomerate.
100%, 100%. Yesterday Trump sent a video over to the guys there's a conference yesterday. It was the digital, do you remember the name of it? Digital Summit?
Asset, yeah, digital
Digital
asset
Asset
summit.
Summit? Yeah, DAS. And Trump sent them a video yesterday. In the video, he says a few pretty big things. President Trump calls on Congress to pass crypto stablecoin legislation. And then he says, he kind of repeated this. This is something he said in Nashville, if I remember correctly. He said, "Together we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and crypto capital of the world." He keeps saying this, right? This isn't something he said one time he went away. There's no reason for him to continue saying this unless he truly believes it, right? Because he got the vote. There's not another election Trump can actually go in, right? I mean, he probably wants the approval rating to go up. I mean, he's somebody who I see that reads that number every day and says, "I want it higher." So maybe that is why, but I don't see any other reason why unless he truly believes that he wants the U.S. to be that Bitcoin superpower.
He's a competitive guy, right? That's kind of how he got to where he was in his regular business.
Yeah,
The haters will say, "Oh, he filed bankruptcy and all this stuff multiple times." Yeah, that's called strategy, to
yeah,
restructure and have more success, right?
yeah,
And so, yeah, I think he believes it when he says it. And the more important thing is this go around, he has people around him that believe the same thing he believes, right? And especially
yes.
this industry. I mean, I feel like the closest people to him, you got like Elon Musk, David Sachs, you have
Howard Lutnick.
the VP,
Yeah, well, JD
yeah,
Vance.
exactly. JD Vance, Ludnick, and everybody is like pro Bitcoin and crypto. So it's not just him, it's his team, right? So he's gonna do everything he can to kind of, in my opinion, to get us there.
100%. And the Secretary of Treasury, another Bitcoin guy, right? Like it's
That's
pretty insane.
you want that. Like the secretary,
Yeah.
imagine like if Janet Yellen was pro Bitcoin and crypto. It would have been a whole different story, right?
I don't think she's anything besides pro cat at this point. Like she's she's an old granny, bro. But anyway, Swift. Okay, so this was a tweet. I got tricked by it. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was a tweet from Watcher Guru. They came out randomly last night. I was at my computer, refreshed my Twitter, looking at the newest stuff, and this popped up. Swift nearing agreement with Ripple to use XRP for cross-border payments with billions of XRP secured in escrow as liquidity reserves. And I immediately went to Twitter and said, "This is bullshit." I was typing a tweet up Then I went to go find it to quote it, right? And I went back and I couldn't find it. I'm like, what's going on? So then I'll take a look at the chart, the XRP chart, and I see this amazingness that happened. This was the tweet from Watcher Guru. Boop. And then all of a sudden, this is kind of where I saw it, right? Like right around here. I was like, why is there a big red candle in this? This is the biggest news that's ever happened. And then Watcher Guru comes out and they say, our X account was hacked today. We sent a message to X employee 2 weeks ago after we suspected an attempt was made to compromise our account. On March 5th, a Telegram user sent a valid X.com link to an X post of ours in what suspect to have been social engineering technique to access our account. They basically had access to this account for going on 3 weeks, and they didn't use it until last night. And last night, the tweet was Swift nearing Ripple thing. And so it doesn't make any sense for Swift to use Ripple, right? Because the main reason is if they want to send $5 billion to a country, let's just say Germany, for instance, and XRP for some reason drops 6% because a war breaks out, that payment just lost 6% of its value, right? There's no reason to use XRP when you can use stablecoins. Yes, maybe use XRPL, maybe, right? But again, Solana is faster than XRPL. Sonic is faster than XRP. So there's no real reason to use XRP for any reason. So this has always been a pipe dream of theirs. And we do know that Swift is actually coming out with their own stablecoin. I listened to that on All In podcast when Chamath was talking about it. So there's no reason for them to ever use XRP as a payment mechanism.
Yeah, I need to do more research on that. But like, in terms of the hack, let's get back to that, because I feel like that's where this is kind of where the SEC and the regulators should focus on these kind of things. Like this is like the cop on the beat type of thing. Investigate this, right? You know, do they end up with a dead end and not be able to figure out, who was behind it? Sure, maybe, but at least put your efforts towards something like to where the public or our industries like, dude, they're like doing good work. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see like regulators come after versus, because if this was a TradFi, I felt like this would definitely be investigated already. Like, what I mean, that started. So maybe they have started an investigation or whatever, but like media outlets and like prominent like news, X accounts that has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers that does this is irresponsible. I'm sure also there was probably, I would check the the long and then short activity as well during that time, because that could kind of lead into it. So this is just kind of the nasty situation that happened. And for XRP holders, it's probably like another emotional roller coaster, because they thought, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, going back to the 10,000 per XRP pipe dream that was laid there for all the holders, right? So, this stinks that this happened, but we got to, have some sort of consequence for these kind of things.
Yeah. Well, this stuff does happen in TradFi too, right? But you are right. They get heavily investigated for this reason. But, this might stop all coins from getting ETFs, right? When they're tradable in the stock market because of stuff like this. You got to remember who Watcher Guru is, right? Yes, they're trusted in our community, but a couple years ago, it was just some guy tweeting, right? These aren't billion-dollar companies. I mean, they're probably multi-million-dollar companies now. But a company like Watcher Guru, who's just, they just started tweeting news from X, right? And that's how they started making money. You go to this subscribe up here, and you can actually get the news before anyone else. Right, so they actually post it to their subscribers first, and before they put it out a few minutes later. So you get an advantage from being a subscriber, and that's how they're making their money. So this isn't like CNBC. This isn't like Yahoo, right? This is a Twitter company. So at the end of the day, we trust them, but maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah. But what will happen is once there's clear regulations and there's consequences for bad actions and stuff like that, then the outlets will become more and more trustable. I truly do believe that. You're still going to have your people that tote the line to where they don't get in trouble, but you'll start to kind of gravitate towards the ones that are solid, that don't do these, have these kind of hack situations.
Exactly.
And sometimes you can't help it, right? So you can kind of get a couple passes, I guess, but like the investigation should still happen and be cleared that, okay, there was no, ill activity that was from within the institution themselves, because that's where I think people need to be worried about. And if that doesn't happen, then it's just stuff like this will continue, and it just won't be good.
But the New York Times puts out bad information every day. They got to retract their article once a week, right? Retracting a previous article. Like, this stuff happens.
Yeah, I think if it depends on how much like people get hurt, like financially, right? And that's what they determine for TradFi, right? If there's a certain level of impact, then that becomes a more serious situation, investigation in case.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. 100%. All right, moving along here. So crypto czar David Sachs holds talks with top UAE official to discuss cryptocurrency. Why is this? Well, like I have no idea why this is such a big news. But I mean, obviously, this is David Sachs. This is someone big in the UAE. Why is this significant?
Huge, because if the US is going to be the capital of crypto, and that's their goal, then you got to have some sort of investment into the country in regards to crypto institutions and stuff like that. And the UAE is a huge liquidity capital. There's a bunch of people with a lot of money that invest in a lot of things from there. And so to me, this is showing that the US is trying to proactively get investors to invest into these newer, probably upcoming institutions that we're going to have here in the States. So to me, it's a strong look, in my opinion, because he's talking with the UAE, which, by the way, they have dabbled and they've been really crypto friendly. But I feel like if they team up with the US for a lot of things, there can be a lot of development happening, and it can benefit both sides. So that's how I view it, and that's why I think it's a bigger deal than probably most view it as.
Yeah, I agree. When I first saw this, I thought about the deal between China, India, and Russia, where they're paying with Bitcoin and crypto and Ethereum and stuff like that for payments of oil. UAE, biggest commodity, oil, right? Do you think they're potentially planning to pay with USDC and cryptocurrencies to buy oil, which is, we usually buy a lot of our oil from the UAE. That's one of their biggest commodities that we buy. Do you think maybe that potentially could be something? We're using cryptocurrency to buy oil.
That's going to be very interesting because, if we're trying to be more fossil fuel friendly and we start producing more oil ourselves, will we cut back on that? I'm not sure. But in terms of payment, look, I think they're just really probably both wanting to benefit their countries and regions with crypto. And they're saying, how can we, partner up here and let the world know that, we're going to be a really strong partnership and have really strong synergy. That's going to make everybody bullish on both of our regions and stuff like that. Right. So that's how I see it. Obviously, I'm not a fly on the wall, but that's how I perceive probably the conversation went. Love to hear, read an article or something that was written about what actually was said there.
Let's say 3 weeks from now, something comes out, says UAE will now start taking stable coins and crypto as payment. And that maybe this was a conversation that they needed to have with someone like David Sachs, the czar, right? To get this potentially going. And this is kind of what I think this is. This is the first talks in getting crypto payments. Because right now, the way they do it, they wire it, right? Like anything from the federal, it goes from Swift. It gets wired to them for what, This is a better way of doing it. You have a UAE wallet, you have a US wallet, stablecoin to stablecoin. 1.5 seconds later, that money is in there. That oil is getting put in trucks and sent to the US, or putting in boats and sent to the US, right? And I think the US, even if we start drilling here, what the last administration did to our oil reserve was like really bad. I mean, 90% of it got sucked out. We need to start replenishing that. At the same time, I think oil needs to be one of the reserve assets that we need to have, just in case we ever see anything like we've seen in the past happen, especially with war and with Russia and stuff like that. So I think we need to also drill here, but we also need to go over there and get their oil as well. We need to get as much as possible, just in case we ever deal with anything we dealt with over the last 4 years.
Yeah, and also it could be kind of like a foreign policy decision or foreign affairs decision to keep that relationship going as well. Even if we do have oil and we're drilling more and have more abundant, fossil fuels here, I do think that like maintaining that relationship with the UAE and that part of the world, Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, is very important because
100%.
of investment in the infrastructures, right? So that's probably another reason why. So it's exciting to see. I'm gonna dig further into this to see
Yeah.
what came out of this talk. Maybe I can find something, but the future looks bright whenever those two regions are partnering up.
100%. The next thing is something that got me really bullish. So SEC acknowledges the filing of 21 shares spot Polkadot ETF. So we do know that they've acknowledged the XRP, they've acknowledged the Doge, they've acknowledged Cardano, they've acknowledged a lot of other ones, right? Polkadot is something that is not US. Polkadot was started overseas in Amsterdam, in Switzerland, and in England. They have 3 separate offices that all become Polkadot. So this is one that is not a US company. They could be. They could put a building here and be a US company because Gavin Wood was in the U.S. during the Ethereum days and before he became the head of Polkadot. Anyway, I want Polkadot to be a part of. I truly believe when they do put all these crypto ETF blue chippers out there, I want Polkadot to be one of them because I think Polkadot has the best technology, especially with this new jam upgrade that is happening in a month or two, which is going to allow UTXO and account-based models to kind of work together and actually go to a more of a a layer 0 that actually has chains that are actually talking to each other. It's huge. So what I've read from James so far, it's huge. And I'm actually glad that Polkadot and I think Hardera is another one that is joining this potentially 10 listings at one time.
So I feel like Polkadot has had some of the marketing trouble similar to ICP, right? Like ICP's a lot of ICP's problems because the price was at like crazy. I think like $200, and then now it retraced, which you got to know tokenomics to understand why that happened, right? And then, but still, nevertheless, both of them have had a hard time getting through with the marketing, right? And kind of gaining that strength, but both offer really strong tech stacks, I think. And so what this can do is, maybe Polkadot's finally like, okay, look, with regulation coming in and TradFi coming in, this is our chance. We have an ETF. Now we have this new jam upgrade. We can roll these catalysts into each other and actually get kind of the recognition that they feel like they deserve, right? So, the ETF is just kind of like this, in my opinion, it's like, okay, they acknowledge it. If you get it passed, then you get like an overall public retail perception of okay, TradFi is on board with these guys, and so that's another level up. So congrats to them on that. I can't wait to see what the tech stack looks like after the jam upgrade is complete. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. Jam is equivalent to what Ethereum did from going from proof of work to proof of stake. Obviously, they're still staying proof of stake, but the way they're doing it is all these chains now become parallel to each other instead of being these subnets, very similar to what some other places are doing, right? So Polkadot is actually going to become a chain that talks to each other, because once you do a transaction on Moonbeam, you're actually doing that same transaction on the Polkadot layer 0. But then a product like Hydration can actually see that transaction happen, and then now you're kind of seeing information being deployed everywhere, and potentially you can take something like Base and plug that in to Polkadot's layer 0 as well, and even Bitcoin. Bitcoin can become a layer 1 on top of Polkadot's layer 0.
And you got to remember, like as the internet got better and software got better and stuff like that, just the experience got so much better. And like, not the everyday people that talked about the internet space in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, continued to talk about it. It was just developments that happened once investment came in. And that's where I think we are right now. It's like when the big boys start investing, they're just like, they don't tell everybody what they're building and stuff. Like it just happens. And you're like, holy crap. Like now, like we have interoperability with Jam, with all these different types of developer languages. So tech stack doesn't matter as much. You just make the experience so much better for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, if you build it, that it will come. I truly believe that the best tech will win in the long term, but the best advertising, the best marketing is going to win now. And that's Solana, that's Ethereum, right? That's Base, right? So
dude, that's exactly how it always plays out in industries. Like the Yahoos and the other companies in the very beginning, they were marketing and advertising, but then who came and was the turtle that became the rabbit, right? Like was the Googles, the Amazons later on. So we're going to see stuff like that. Yeah.
Like Chevy, one of the biggest marketers. I see more Chevy commercials than I see anything else. Tesla car is still, the best technology. Right. Right. They do no marketing whatsoever. And yeah, so but they're having their own issues, not to get into any of that stuff. But the last thing here before we get into fear and greed is a crypto user you lost $304,000 after copying a fake address from transaction history. So guys, this has been something that's been happening for a while. It's called dust, right? They what they do is they send you a dust transaction, which is like less than a penny. And the address looks very similar to the address you just sent to. It'll have the same 6 front numbers, the same back 6, right? But everything in the middle is, or there's a few digits that are missing. That actually, when you do send it to that wallet, it sends to another one. Of course, this made news last night. This was on places like CNBC and Yahoo and stuff like that. It's a stablecoin transaction that went from one wallet to another. This guy was just changing wallets. That's it. That's all he was doing, and then he lost all of his money. This is the type of stuff that's gonna push us backwards and maybe push us off chain and on decentralized exchanges for the big money and stuff like that. Like I don't this stuff is truly the worst stuff that can continue to happen. But people need to be smarter, right? Like send $4 first, right? And then take that same address you just copied, put that back in. Like there's no reason to rush transactions. Take your time.
Let me ask you this: if there was like a servicer that came in and said it's centralized, right? That they came in and they said, we'll handle your large transactions for you and charge you this much for a fee, but if anything happens that's malicious, then we will back it. It's like an insurance or whatever. Would you do that for like a certain amount of transactions and up? How would you do that? Because there's probably, like, you're right, there's going to be some business minded people that see an opportunity here to handle large transactions, because at the end of the day, losing $304,000 is horrible. But I got to imagine someone that can get to $300,000 is taking their sweet time on making sure addresses and all this stuff match up. So he got socially engineered in a, like, it was very strategic, basically. You know what I mean? Because I can't imagine someone rushing through $304,000 transaction send. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Well, if you let's just say you sent it yesterday, you sent $100,000 yesterday, and you just go to your wallet, your recent transactions, you grab that address, you're like, okay, 4406, okay, that's good, and then you send it again.
That's what happened, right?
But in between those two transactions, somebody sent dust from a wallet that was close to it. Right.
It was the same last
when he looked
4, but then it was
same last 6, same first 6.
Oh my God, that's tough. That's horrible.
Yeah. So, but to your point though, if a company came in and was like, "Yo, we will do transaction for you," like, how can you do that in a decentralized way? That sounds very centralized. I'm still going to send in my assets, right? And what if I don't get? So the only way around this would be shizzy.eth. Yagobi.eth, right? Yagobi 621.eth or whatever, shizzy 21.eth. Like it, so it's like it's one of those things where numbers and letters, it's like a phone number, even, right? So where it's 215, 444 4444, right? Or something like that, right? So it's just one of those things where we get maybe the Ethereum IDs need to change, like maybe we need to go to the ES, what is it? Ethereum's name service, ENS system, more quickly.
Yeah, because someone can't replicate your ENS, right? If you take it, so
no, I mean they can change a number in the back.
Yeah.
Like Yagobi 471 instead of 476, right, or something like that.
The only other way, kind of like I was talking about, and it is centralized, like you said, but it'd be more of like kind of like a bridge process, I guess, to where you're like, okay, give us the final destination, and then you send it there, and then they forward it over, but then they're covering it with insurance if something bad happens, whatever, right? So
but then insure the transactions, that could help.
Yeah, but then again, you have to make sure you send it to the right address for that. So I mean, it's a tough situation.
The only thing would fix it is if it's Coinbase. Coinbase you can immediately put a hold on that transaction, right?
I'll say this. Like, I always copy like the address of the destination. I don't save anything on purpose, So like, even if it's already there and it's like, hey, do you want to use such and such? No, like, I'm going to go to the address, copy it myself, then I plug it in. And I mean, I think that is something that helps me. But sending $304,000. Maybe they did send something big over and it just popped up, and you gotta, for something like that, man, I just have to manually do every step myself.
Exactly. I have a bunch of Google accounts, you know what I mean? Different Google, and each Google account has its own MetaMask on it. And what I do is I have a sheet that says, you know, for instance, like my Shizzy account, this is the address of the Xverse, this is the address of the MetaMask, this is the address of the Unisat, so on and so on and so on. This account that I call, you know, Shizzy 444 or whatever, this one has an Xverse, same thing, and I have a different wallet address for that one as well. But like I have this all written down. So when I make a transaction, I go to that sheet and I say, okay, this is the one, and then I go and I paste it in and make that transaction, right? Because all those numbers are pasted from that original wallet anyway. But someone could hack that paper and change those numbers, right? And then I'm an idiot. So there's ways that I could have better hygiene with it, but it really comes down to having really good wallet hygiene. And I think ENS though, and SNS, and you know, Bitcoin type of names, Sats names could really help in the future when you're sending, you know, because it's easier to read. I can read, you know, Yagobi .sats, Shizzy .sats, right? Instead of reading, you know, or Shizzy .eth or whatever, and then doing that. But then someone might like send a Shizzy .eth and I'm Shizzy stats.eth, right? So it's I don't know. I don't know how you fix this. I don't know how you fix this. But moving along here. Any last words on that?
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, hopefully they can't mask the usernames too, because I mean that's the thing about these scammers is that if they would just work as hard as they do to try to think of new ideas to scam and build a business, they'd probably be way more, you know, efficient with themselves and society. But you know, hopefully there's not a way to mask the username. But if there's not, then I agree. I think that's a great option.
There's an NFT. So when you do it ENS, you get an NFT, and that so you're just sending it to the wallet that NFT is backed in. So when you send it to Shizzy.ether, for instance, you're actually sending it to the wallet that has that NFT within it, or inscription within it, depending on if you use Bitcoin. Same way as .sats works. So you really can't mask it in the sense of, but you have to make sure that that NFT is in that wallet that you're sending to, right? So. All right, let's kind of get into the Bitcoin fear and greed here. Man, all over the place. Last week was a 27. Yesterday was a 49. Today we're back in fear. Very low 30s is my guess for you today.
33?
Pretty much.
31. 31.
Fear. But look at this, dude. 27 last week, 49 yesterday, 31. I said this freaking last week. You buy on Monday, or no, you buy on Friday and you sell on Monday. Like if you did this, every Monday is good. Every Friday is terrible. Buy on Monday, or no, sell, buy on Friday, sell on Monday. I bet you Monday we're back in the 40s. I bet you Monday we're back in the 40s, bro.
Yeah, but let's see. What were we on Monday morning, which was the 16th?
It was
we were about. Well, no, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. It was actually 80. 83, 80, okay. right around where we are actually right now. So we peaked on
Thursday.
For the week. Yeah, we hit that 87. So we peaked there. So maybe not. So yeah, I mean, but I mean, I remember back last year it was like that though. It was literally like, you know, you buy, you know, heading into the weekend and then sell before the week starts. But we'll see if that ever comes back.
Yep. All right, let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura is actually doing really big things. We're actually scheduling a Artura roundtable trading competition. If you guys are interested for an episode, we're going to be taking 150x leverage. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a pre-record. If you guys are interested in coming on, you don't even need to show your face. Show your screen, maybe. That might be something we need to do, is make sure that your trade is your trade. But we're going to have like 6, 7, 8 people on stream at once, and we're going to take 150x and see who wins and see who's the champion of that week. Potentially we could do these ongoing, but it's all to kind of showcase what they're doing at Artura.finance, and their paper trading competition is live right now on Botonics. They are going live on Hemi probably within second in Q2, which is 11 days away, but they're probably going to be somewhere in Q2. So look out for that. Very looking forward to Hemi, because not only will I be earning the Artura token, but potentially I'm going to be earning the Hemi airdrop as well from participating on their mainnet. But right now you can go and participate on the Botonics. Who knows? Botonics could reward people in the future for using the test net. We don't know if it's for sure. We don't know if it's not, but it's that always a possibility. So you guys can go to Artura.finance right now, make a trade, and then one trade gets you put in the Artura raffle, potentially Botonics later, but who knows? And then win. But definitely check it out, and definitely check out our trading competition roundtable probably within the next couple weeks. Should be fun.
Yes, it definitely will be fun. I actually got a couple people this morning to join in on that, so it's going to be a fun time. So stay tuned for that. But let's get before we get into the Bitcoin price action, if you guys could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, help us out, guys, and share the space. Hit that like as well. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. Let's go with the hour chart here to start off with. Let me pull you down. There you go. Okay, cool. All right. So, of course, whenever we have a bullish day these days, they only give us one, which was yesterday, right? It was kind of the initial response to that FOMC, right? And then decided, hey, let's take it back down. So couldn't enjoy. We can't have nice stuff, I guess, in our space for the time being. But it looks like there's some people, including myself, a little bit, that think we are going to go through some bullish times coming up because there's a lot of catalysts here. Let's take a look here at the stochastic RSI. Starting yesterday at about 3 a.m. Sorry, man, we have been in oversold for a very long time. Then popped out. Yeah, it seemed like it wanted to, give us a little bullish price trend here, but then just came right back down, man. I'm telling you, there's powers to be that want to keep Bitcoin's price down right now. I mean, you just feel it, right? Whenever we do have like bullish energy, it lasts for like a day and it kind of psychs a lot of people out. People get liquidated, all that great stuff, or not so great, I should say. But you can see here too on the MACD, fake out to the upside. It matches up right here with the stochastics, right? Like we thought we were going to come out of sell pressure and go into buy pressure, but it said nope. And so, heading into the weekend, I don't expect any like bullish energy for tomorrow. Saturday's typically a trader's like, choppy, try to scalp day situation on, typical Saturdays is how that plays out. If we get any bullish news, that could change. Sunday will be kind of, I'm going to be looking at the headlines on Sunday morning if there is any, to see what that kind of power move that typically happens in the Sunday evening to kind of get us started for Monday, right? We are about 4 days away from that March 25th day that people have been talking about with, M2 money supply, all these catalysts coming in. We got the Fed kind of on our side to be, a bit dovish. We'll see if this plays out. But yeah, heading into the weekend, I'm not going to take any positions. I'm just going to sit and watch a bit. And then, like I said, look for headlines heading into Sunday evening. So my expectation is for choppiness, right? Ranging from 80 to maybe 85 is something that I'd probably expect. So I know that's like a $5,000 swing, but I think it's just going to continually swing both ways. Same thing for the 4 hour, which looked like if we could have got out of this, if we could have continued that bullish activity, this could have been a pretty good weekend, even though weekends aren't really huge moves like I mentioned, but we could have had something at least heading into Saturday. But because of how yesterday played out and the smaller time frames, I expect it's just to kind of go sideways, consolidate over the weekend. So that's what I'm seeing there. Hey guys, just hang tight. There are a lot of catalysts coming up. That is what I'll say. So let's pay attention to that. Pay attention to the M2 money supply. Let's pay attention to the positive headlines and see if that can start getting things bullish, because that's my expectation here for the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, I 100%. If I took a long today and with the expectation to close it out on Monday, would you condone that? Would you say, yeah, go ahead?
I would say that be careful with your leverage amount.
Yeah.
What
would you recommend? Well, for yourself.
If I were to do it in the current situation we're in right now, I would be forcing myself into a trade because I don't feel.
You wouldn't want it. You don't feel comfortable over the weekend.
No, I don't. Okay. But if I wanted to scalp it, I would probably try to scalp between 5 and 10x because The worst thing that you want is to get into a position playing indicators over the weekend and you get stuck into like a 20x trade because you just wanted to scalp some profit real
Yeah.
quick, and then you're down like you're down to start off really quick at like $200 down or something like that. You don't want to close that out like psychologically right away. You just got in or something, right? So for me, like 5x gives me a little bit more time. It's just smaller amounts and smaller positions and leverage would give me enough time. So if I were to force myself into a trade, it would be a 5x, but I wouldn't do that.
What if I want to? I'm confident the bottom is in, right? I don't think we go any lower than 82. I put a liquidation number at like 81,000, and I want to do it for 3 weeks. Like I'm confident in holding this 3 weeks. How much leverage would you suggest?
You want to put the liquidation at 81?
Yeah, like I don't need like numbers, but like but that's where I feel comfortable my liquidation price kind of being around 81. Anything lower than that, even better. But like I'm pretty confident the bottom is in, and I want to take a 3 weeks leverage trading position. Would you say 3x, 4x, 5x?
Yeah, I would probably do a 3 just because like I know that's gonna push my leverage, my liquidation. If we're at 84,000 right now, I imagine 3x would probably put you at like low 70s. You know what I mean? And so that gives you a lot of space, maybe even lower than that actually, because with Bitcoin, it's pretty dramatic whenever you go down in leverage.
Yeah.
So that's what I would probably. But you can have size and just be really disciplined and stick to that 2-3x. Look, I mean 2x is still doubling your position of what you're putting in, right? So I think we get into this like gambling mentality so easily. And again, I'm talking about myself too a lot of times here. And you say, okay, 5x is conservative. In my opinion, no, really, like if you really want to play like really truly conservative, 2-3x to me would be the max there.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there, 100%. I agree. All right, let's get into the roll call today. First is first on this show, and it's someone who has already won this week. I am happy for this person. I am happy for so many reasons, but the fact that it still rocks, he or she still rocks a Billy Cat. Shout out to you, my friend. We appreciate you so much for always being a part of our community. But you win today, and you pretty much won the week. Let's see. You won today, you won Wednesday, no one else won more than you. Yep, you're the winner. So today's this week's winners, let me actually show my screen here and do the stupid thing that they're making me do now. So you won. ASAP Benji won on Monday, Matt's won on Tuesday, Lackey Lukey won on Wednesday, Danny Boy won on Thursday, and Lackey Lukey again gets his 4th win of the year. Shout out to Lackey Lukey, man. Every single person, even if you have 0, still has a shot. We're still like 9 months away about 9 months away from the winner of this. December 31st, after the show, we're going to pick the winner. Maybe even during the show, because we'll have the first. So during that show on December 31st, we're going to pick the winner of that frog. And second place and third place will also get it. So right now, second place will go to Danny. Webdro would actually be number 1, right? Yeah, Webdro will be number 1. Danny would be 2. And it looks like PJ and Z would be 3 right now. So that's who would win the 3 prizes. But every single one of you guys have so much time to beat his 12. So I'm rooting for all you guys. It doesn't matter to me who wins. I just want it to be a type competition going down to the end. It's something I hope for. But shout out to all you guys, man. All right, and then number 2 spot today, ASAP Benji. About 5 minutes later, bro, competitive. And then about 10 minutes after that, we had our boy Nighthawk come in and say, damn. Mr. Hanky even came in with another Billy Cat. Shout out to Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Poo. Nighthawk is here. Shout out to Nighthawk. Lackey Lukey again. Danny Boy. Danny says, Webdro letting everyone catch up, so we feel good, then going to rip it away again. That's definitely a possibility. Webdro is a beast. He's a dog. He's a problem. Shout out to Webdro. Tim Baker says, you guys are fast. Danny Boy, Tim, the competition is fierce now. Webdro pops in. Says, Danny Boy, you're making it harder to sell the hopium. Competition are way better when we all think we can win. I love it. Webdro. Love it. Danny Boy says, you're right. Malam Yuri says, it's about time. Shout out to you. You must be talking about what if we're all right. Valhalla incoming. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Nabob is here. Glass Hopper is here. Shout out to Glass Hopper. And then our guy, Superfan, GM. Shout out to Superfan, man. I did see your message on Telegram. I don't know if either of us responded, though, but I'll definitely respond to that. Yesterday was just crazy day for meetings and messages. We'll definitely get back to you for sure. I'm definitely interested in that as well. You know what? I think I did respond now I think about it. So definitely Kai Effect. Kai Effect is here. S is here. Shout out to S. He says, GM from the Bells guy. That's what I called you in the intro. Shout out to S. Here every single day, S. I appreciate you. And Steamy J with his Nat Cats. Shout out to Steamy J. Absolute legend. Matt says, Valhalla, here we come. Chief Axel is here. Shout out to Chief Axel. Closing it out here, we got Matt. He's a bit name on stamps. Has the SRC 101 protocol first name service on BTC layer 1. That's interesting. Let's look into that. That's really, really interesting. Myself says, could you give me more of a macro outlook on charts, some weekly, monthly timeframes, but about some other charts too? What charts would you recommend, myself?
Yeah, put the other tokens in there that you want me to go over, and I'll start to include those. But yeah, I actually did talk about that. Bringing up the weekly. So I do want to bring that up real quick because we talked about this. I think about a week ago. Hitting on the weekly because the weekly is important. It gives you that opportunity to zoom out and kind of see where we are, right? And if you look here, it actually doesn't look that bad in terms of the weekly candle here. I do think that we're gonna most likely, if nothing crazy happens tomorrow and then Sunday, end with another green candle, which is always a good thing, right? So the thing is that we want to see though is this start to lighten up. So we need to see this MACD on the weekly lighten up a bit. We are still, look at this, man. Look how close we are to the 50-day EMA on the weekly channel. So we're but like it's bouncing. It seems like at least it's treading there, right? It's not like going below. So I think next week's going to tell us a lot. So, this is good. This is good. We're looking at this because if we can have a strong green candle, meaning that this kind of breaking down below the top portion of the 50-day EMA was rejected in terms of breaking down, then we can actually say, this makes sense into our thesis, and we were right for the next 10 weeks. So hopefully this plays out the way we hope. But yeah, so far not too bad, honestly. This was so bad. Oh my God, this was so bad. And this is why everybody is still feeling like this, because you got to imagine. I mean, look at that, right? So we'll see.
Going down, touching that line though, that's usually a good sign, right? Touching that
well, it's kind of because you got to test it. If you don't test it for so long, then everybody's gonna people that pay attention to this chart are gonna just be like, oh man, I'm nervous because we haven't tested it in so long, and there's always a testing at least the the top part of the channel.
Gotcha. Yeah,
at some point. Yeah.
All right, let's get into a topic today. OKX is leading the Bitcoin layer 1 fungible token volume. OKX, guys, is destroying everybody. So we were looking at it this morning. Everyone, if I asked you what's the #1 leading platform in ordinals, runes, and stuff like that, you would probably say Magic Eden. Well, that's a bullshit lie because it is not. It's not Unisat. It's not Magic Eden. It is OKX is leading the entire Bitcoin fungible market, and they are doing it by 100x. It's pretty wild. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's over 10x for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually pull this chart up because you guys need to see this. So this is what I was hinting at after the intro about BRC20s, and I think this is probably gonna blow some of y'all's mind away here. But let me share my screen here. Okay, so yeah, I was kind of man, I don't know, because I just picked up a lot of runes. This is gonna make us look bad, but we gotta tell the news, and that's what we are about here. And so, if you take a look here, this is the 24-hour data, guys. And if you look at volume, I mean, first of all, there's still new BRC20s that are being launched and traded on OKX. So the 24-hour volume for this token called SHIB, which is BRC20, is $833,000 US dollars. Doll hairs, guys. The market cap on this is like 500K, meaning that new tokens are either being launched or they're being hyped up or something like that. Because you can see the change here is 1,865%. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 2 in 24-hour volume comes RPi, which the Chinese love that symbol pi. 655,000 guys in 24-hour volume, right? Market cap 1.57. To me, that's either a newer token or one that's trying to get hyped up. Number 3 comes in at CO2, 400K in 24-hour volume. Market cap's $114 million. What? $114 million in this token CO2. Like, who knows about this? Like, I feel like the Chinese communities really kept this kind of to themselves, which I don't blame them. You know, like the whole split off between runes and BRC20s, right? And then number 4 comes in the original pie for the BRC20s, $365,000 in 24-hour volume. Market cap at $210 million. Market cap. I mean, it blows my mind. And then number 5 is TRRP, $291,000 volume, and then $334,000 market cap. So another probably new token or something. But I mean, if you go down and you do it by market cap, though, it's crazy because BYTB, I don't even know what this is, but the volume on it was actually not that much, 24 hours. So that's kind of interesting. But 246,000 or $246 million market cap. Okay, let's just say this one isn't like as true to the market cap because the volume. But let's look at number 2 in terms of market cap. 219 million, 270,000. That's pretty solid for Bitcoin fungible 24-hour volume. Number 3, we already went over this one. Then you go to number 4, 208. Another. Oh, that's not pie. This is horseshoe. Okay. 167,000 24-hour volume with 208 million. You know, so it's just
horseshoe.
It's just crazy. It's like baffling because if you look at the volume comparative to like Magic Eden, like OKX is trumping like the total fungible layer 1 volume for Bitcoin fungibles, right? And it's just it's wild. And there was a statement that was made in a conversation that I was having, right? And I think we were both talking to somebody, and they said that like the BRC 2.0 rollout has been kind of like intentionally like postponed because they didn't say this exactly, but they hinted around OKX probably doesn't want it to be rolled out. I mean,
yeah,
they're making fees here. Like they're dominating in Bitcoin fungibles, and only probably like a small portion, or like obviously a big portion of the Chinese community knows about it. It's not being talked about in the space, and it's a pretty vast difference in total volume per day.
Yeah, is that just for BRC20? Because they do runes there too, right? And they're beating Magic Eden on the rune side as well, correct?
Are they? Let me see.
I could be wrong, but I thought that's what we're looking at.
Okay, so I think possibly they are beating them on the rune side as well. I mean, you have Arsic at like 65,000. Then you have Doggo to the Moon at like 39,000. But Doggo to the Moon only did like 18,000 on Magic Eden.
Yeah.
I think Arsic had like 40. Yeah, so they're winning on both sides of the table, man. They're eating, bro, in terms of like our fungible token market, right? But like the biggest thing that was that stuck out to me is I don't think it looks as bad if we take a look here on Genie data though. But it's still, you know, BRC20s. You can see if you click on runes and then you click on BRC20s. So this is on-chain data. So this is going to show you like what the 24-hour volume is. So 24-hour volume for runes on-chain Bitcoin layer 1, 142,000 for BRC20s, 4.21 million.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, like, what do you take? What do you take from that?
Could you say the numbers again from OKX to?
So OKX, or do you want me to just tell you the runes like standard versus BRC20? That's what I was just.
I was just curious about the runes from Magic Eden to.
Okay, so Magic Eden to OKX. So let me get that for you real quick.
I can get the Magic Eden number.
Okay, so do you want to just do runes, or you want to do?
I'm just curious what runes are. If runes are actually being traded through the Chinese lens, and that's OKX, right?
Yeah. So the total. Let me go back here. Sorry. 24-hour volume. I mean, it doesn't give me a total on.
It's hard,
OKX,
right?
but
Yeah.
I can just do the top like 10 because I'm pretty sure it's going to be more than what you're seeing there, anyways.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so like about 200K go into the top 8.
Yeah.
Is this for everybody though? This might, or is it just for them? Because they would only report them, I would think, right?
I don't think they're an aggregator. Only way they would do it is if they're an aggregator.
Yeah. So 203,000 for the past 24 hours.
Gotcha.
For OKX. So maybe they're just dominating in general in secret.
OKX is
Weird.
winning the battle, dude. They're winning the battle with fungibles for sure. I'm gonna start digging a little bit deeper in BRC20s for sure, and kind of because I don't want to keep missing out on that. Yeah, for sure. But all right. Anything else on that before we leave? You have anything else on that?
No. Well, I mean, I'm gonna kind of dive into these tokens and see what they're about, because that's that definitely surprised me.
Yeah,
you know, those market caps, and if they weren't pulling volume, then I would be like, okay, they're just kind of like, you know, Feihu has a huge market cap, but it doesn't do a lot of volume. It's just more about like circulating supply and stuff like that, but or total supply and then floor price. But these are like pulling like $400,000 a day volume for $210 million market cap, $300,000 a day volume for $220 million market cap. You know, that is legitimate. That's legitimate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you can't really say it's BS because it's showing that it's not.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we'll go to the next thing here. Best in slot. So they had a tweet. They actually, one of our friends here, or Duscher, he was on the show. I said that right, Duscher, or Deutscher, but Deutscher. So he copied a tweet from Block. Block was basically saying, you know, their snapshot in the Goosenals lock up and stuff like that. And then Best in Slot came out and they said, lock anything and everything for honor and glory, maybe even drops. So I'm going to ask you, is Best in Slot about to have a token? Is Best in Slot about to pull a Merlin and have you lock up your assets and then airdrop you their token for doing so?
I don't know, but right now they're basically saying like, don't expect anything, do it for the love of it. And so to me,
who loves locking up their assets though?
I don't know. I mean, they like the Goosenals are like trying to get involved with it. Like everybody's trying to get involved with like, you know, locking their tokens up and stuff like that. So I think they're all expecting this kind of you know, they're all expecting this airdrop, or else I don't think they would do it. It just wouldn't make sense, you know, to do it. But this can create a supply and demand shock if enough people do it. And so I do see this as a possible good catalyst for, you know, the upcoming weeks if things are, you know, if things are pumping in general, right, in the market. So it can give our space, or at least the Bitcoin ecosystem space, like a catalyst to kind of thrust up here. So I'm kind of bullish on it. I do expect them to have some sort of airdrop with this.
Yeah, I was thinking, I went and looked up the B slot token, potentially 5-digit ticker, minute the whole thing out to themselves, all sitting in one wallet. Definitely a possibility of an airdrop with that one. We do know that they are one of the people that are working with they are the top builder, right, for the BRC 2.0 upgrade, right?
Yeah, Benari and his team, you know, they've been talking about a lot of things that, you know, is coming with this, and so I just I'm excited to see what happens, right? Like, look, yes, I hold, you know, a significant amount of runes and stuff like that, and but I'm open to, you know, bringing some of my BRC 420 like interest back if it's you know, so I mean, I'm already bringing some of it back because I'm seeing OKX. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's like significant enough for me to say, raise my eyebrows and say, okay, you know, what do I need to look at over here again?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely bullish on this though, because I'm actually thinking about maybe, because I have a goose on Merlin that I have to bring over. Just doing that, maybe locking that goose up, maybe getting a few more goose, locking them up. The goose will seem to be something that has always been big in the BRC20 community. So Best in Slot being a part of that community and builders for BRC20s, it might make sense. And who knows if Block's going to do something, right? To people that lock up their goose, potential rune or BRC20 on Odin could eventually, you know, maybe puts in takes a bunch out and airdrops it to them people. Who knows? There's definitely different possibilities that could happen with this, and it's definitely interesting. And who knows? I mean, they're probably using what Fluid is using, right? With the blockchain technology.
Who I imagine is probably something similar, right?
Yeah.
But it's just it's interesting because right now, I guess, would be the time to release something like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, so I imagine, like, are they all? Do you know if they're all set to a certain block height, or is it dependent on each project?
I think it's up to you. You get to lock it up as long as you want to.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but I know you can take a snapshot of that. I'll do some research on this weekend. I'll lock something up and I'll bring it to you guys, let you guys know what that experience was like and stuff. But it's definitely something that's really interesting, and definitely wanted to showcase it. So this is big for our show. It's a Friday, and we talked about BRC20s, and we talked about locking BRC20s and Goosenals and stuff up. Pretty big day for BRC20s. I mean, you got to start opening your eyes to the hottest item, and doesn't seem like it's runes right now.
Well, check this out though. Check this out, right? So we know that BRC20 2.0 best in slots behind that, right?
Yeah.
What a perfect way to kind of roll that out by saying everybody that locked their ordinals up is getting the best in slot BRC20 airdrop or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of speculation happening, but it could be big.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
I agree. All right, guys, it's Friday, so you guys know what that means. It's officially Fluid Friday, and today we're lucky enough to have one of our good friends, Raul, from FluidTokens.com. Fluid Tokens is building something really special for Bitcoin, but they're also building up pretty amazing stuff with Cardano, and we're going to get into a lot of that stuff right now. Let's bring up Raul from Fluid. Raul, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thank you so much for being here, bud. Oh, can you hear me?
Are you there, Raul? Oh, we can't hear you. I think your mic is. You got to reconfigure your mic.
What about now?
Yes, we can hear you. Good job.
We're good.
How are you doing?
All good. What about you guys?
Doing pretty good, trying to get the audience, the community excited for the next 10 weeks, hopefully bullish times. We'll see. The weekly chart looks like that could be happening, but everybody has the hangover from the past several weeks of being down only. But with you being a builder and constantly looking to see how much Fluid can bring to the Bitcoin ecosystem, what has the up and down been like for you as a builder?
Yes, so consider that in our case, we are exposed to different chains. So we have even different mood and momentum according to the community that we are working with at that moment. For instance, in the Bitcoin ecosystem, we have all seen how everyone was complaining about who can fix runes or when are actually going to work runes or something like that. And we also see how Odin.fan helped a lot the adoption of the runes ecosystem, because we saw even on Fluid Tokens, once the projects were able to bond on Odin.fan, they were able to create a staking vault on Fluid Tokens. So we can see how sidechain interoperability and so on, at the end of the day, when it comes to Bitcoin layer 1, there is a direct connection over there. So in this case, yes, we see Sparks that is closed, officially closed, and we have Pep Audience that is still live, 9 days still to stake, and then it's going to close also in that case.
Yeah. You know what? Like to me, this is DeFi. A lot of people are saying, there's not a lot of people, but there's a certain group of people that are still kind of like, it's trust minimized. But when you break down the technicals of how Bitcoin is, you can never get completely trustless. It's just not how Bitcoin was created. We're not there. And so to me, leveraging something like ICP's tech stack, to be able to create activity and volume for runes, and then taking the runes back to Bitcoin to be able to do DeFi stuff with you guys is amazing. I think that's a huge actual accomplishment that needs to be more recognized. Let me ask you this. Is there a way to possibly also have the staking on that layer that Odin.fun has, so where maybe like some of the ICP people could like want to stake there? I know it's a different tech stack, but is that something that's possible?
Yes, actually. Ideally, you could. Odin.fun works with account abstraction, right? So I'm able to control my assets that are on another chain without leaving my wallet. So this is the basic concept. And in the same way that you interact with the Odin.fun, and now I think that I don't know if it's live yet or not. They are going to launch even a DEX on ICP for the rooms that are there. And in the same way, you could even actually have staking over there. So you control everything with your Bitcoin wallet, but you are actually locking on ICP until a certain date in exchange of rewards. And considering that you have smart contracts over there, you could even have a flexible staking. Like if you give up before, you give up completely your rewards, something like that.
Would that be something that would be a big lift for Fluid to maybe like partner with Odin to maybe create that for that side as well? Or is it kind of you guys are just wanting to stick to like kind of more the UTXO side of things?
Right now, we are checking not just the UTXO side of things, but what possible layer 2s could be an option for this case. We are checking ICP. It's not a priority right now. However, as you know, we are working on some layer 2s right now.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Shizzy.
Yeah. So what we've seen lately is a lot of reposts and stuff like that talking about potentially stacks.btc. I'm just curious if there's any alpha that potentially you can give us. Fluid tokens reposted stacks, right? Like we saw recently you guys had like a promotional thing with them as well. Could you talk about anything you guys potentially doing with stacks?
Yes, sure. So first of all, if for the ones that didn't know, Stacks is a layer 2 of Bitcoin, actually one of the very early ones around. And last week, they opened up this hackathon where everyone could develop a project on Stacks using SBTC or not using SBTC, using smart contracts and so on. And we decided to give it a try. So we studied how it worked, and in our mind, it was interesting for this reason. So if you have SBTC on Stacks and you don't do anything at all, just stay there as a SBTC holder and so on, you are getting staking rewards. So there is a 5% APY just for having SBTC over Stacks. And we asked ourselves, okay, this is interesting. For sure, there are whales of SBTC there that are just doing that. They are getting rewarded for just being there. But how could we incentivize these whales to do something else? How could we provide them a way to test DeFi using all that SBTC that they have locked over there? And this is what we did, actually. We created a smart contract on Stacks. Right now, it's still closed, but it's deployed on mainnet, actually. So we've been playing with it and so on. And how does it work? What's the idea? The idea is that, let's say that I have a lot of SBTC, and if I want to get the reward and I want to use the reward to play around with DeFi, but I have to wait 1 year because the reward are giving equally over the year, right? What if I could unlock part of that reward immediately? Like right now, because right now I want to play, right now I there is something that I would like to test out or some DeFi strategy that I want to play out. So I am okay to give up part of the rewards that I will get in exchange of unlocking a part of them right now. And someone else is okay because he says, okay, you know what? I can provide you upfront today part of these rewards. Just give to me all the rewards that you are going to get for 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, depends of how much we want to unlock. And in this way, it's very interesting because right now I am unlocking rewards today. I'm not going to be liquidated because my loan is actually being paid back by Stacks protocol itself. So my collateral is the Stacks network itself. And I'm actually, if I'm not liquidated, I don't have risk, or I'm not afraid of losing my SBTC. And I unlock today a Stacks token that I can use in DeFi, farming, or whatever I would like to do.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is, if I have $100,000 in Bitcoin, if I lock that up for a year, if I have that over there for a year, just sitting there for a whole year, I'm going to earn $5,000 on that 100 grand. But what you guys are doing, you potentially can give me a loan technically, or give me $3,000, right now. I can use that and go invest into Dog Go to the Moon or something else, right? But that person actually will make the whole 5 grand but he has to wait the whole year. Is that kind of what it is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and in my opinion, these are really good kind of options that get borrowed from traditional finance, right? So it's kind of like, I want my money. It's my money. I want it now. Well, you can't have all of it because that's the whole part of the waiting period. But you can have $3,000, but then that you're forfeiting that full amount to the service provider there, which I think is an amazing option to have. You have the option. You don't have to take it if you don't want. But some people might need to, like you said, get into Dog before it shoots up, or get into something else, or maybe they just need to pay something off and they don't want to, they already got their Bitcoin locked in there and they want to utilize it. So I think having these options like this gets us kind of closer to what, normies in society are used to. So I love this. How do you feel in terms of, the, I guess, development and, future of Stacks and Fluid? Do you feel pretty confident that that's going to be like you guys are going to do this?
So the hardest part, let's say, that was the smart contract, has been done. So that was the difficult side. On the other part, I see that the wallets, the integration, at the end of the day, are the same that we have already integrated. So Ledger wallet, Xverse wallet. If you have Stacks, you are going to use those wallets. And so it's just a matter of giving a cool UI, an interface, and the backend to track everything happen. And so I don't see that happening too far. I would say confident that maybe before the end of Q2 it could be live directly on my end.
Wow. That's not too far from here. You're talking about like, summer. So wow, I'm excited about that for sure. Go ahead, Shizzy. Did you have anything about the Stacks thing? Because I have a big question for him, but we're gonna move on to this.
Real quick. So with Stacks, do you see a big opportunity for Fluid to be over there? Do you see a big opportunity in Stacks, period? Is that why you guys are choosing to kind of build over there? Can Stacks be a big player going forward?
Yeah, I will give you my opinion as a developer. So what we have seen is that there is a very smooth experience in terms of bridging over Stacks. When you have your SBTC, also we have seen how fast they fill up their target of SBTC when they open the gates for migrating. And this means that there is a lot of Bitcoin that actually migrated and has bridged out over Stacks that is willing to use DeFi. Now, if you check out the Stacks ecosystem, there are still few dApps, like there are some DeFi lending, there is Swap, so Dexys. However, this means that right now the opportunities of DeFi are not that much. So being one of the players over there and considering that they have smart contracts, so there is a lot of flexibility over there, could give a huge advantage to Fluid.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. Because they have so much liquidity because Stacks token is a multi-billion-dollar token. So that's tons of liquidity just sitting there waiting for someone to extract. Or use
extract
in ways. Well, extract meaning
earn.
use it. Well, use it in DeFi, right? Extract it to DeFi in that sense of bringing that liquidity to a decentralized finance application that people can earn on top of their Stacks token. It's already just sitting there anyway.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. So I'm excited about that release. I'm gonna keep looking out for it. I don't have 100,000 right now to put into like that staking thing, but maybe I could get there here and once you guys
You don't
have
need
it released.
100,000 though. Like,
No,
let's
but
just
I
say
want that
10
exact same scenario though. But I'm gonna pivot a little bit here because I saw your post. I think it was late last night or early this morning, and I think it was early this morning. Well, depending on my morning or your
Yeah.
morning, right? And you were talking about BitVM, which is a concept and now being put into practice. That was created by Robin Linus, I think, and basically creating this virtual machine for Bitcoin that utilizes off-chain computation to be able to facilitate the smart contracts, but using ZK verification to finalize on Bitcoin. And your post made me feel like BitVM is the real deal. And you're saying basically, like BitVM could have worked for Cardano instead of necessarily like pushing towards, the smart contracts and stuff like that. But now that you have smart contracts, you don't have to use BitVM over there. But could you kind of go into the explanation of what you realized after digging deep here?
Absolutely. So first of all, when I was checking out the current BitVM applications, or at least the white papers that were using BitVM as theory based on their bridge or their ZK system and so on, I realized that at the end of the day, the ingredients that were at the base of BitVM are the same ones that you can find on Cardano UTXO, for instance. And what is this? Is the deterministic nature of the blockchain of UTXO in Bitcoin, and you have it also on Cardano. What does it mean? It means that this is actually interesting because we already use it on Fluid for the lending, so we don't have oracles in that case. And we could say that the lending on Fluid is a very small case of BitVM. Because if you remember how it works, we are able to agree on terms, the loan, the repayment, and so on, without propagating on-chain debt until everything is settled. So until all the possible scenarios are decided. And BitVM works exactly in this way. Imagine that me and Shizi are playing tic-tac-toe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to presign every possible move that we are going to do. So it's a lot of signatures going there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to sign every possible scenario that we could go there. And step by step, signature by signature, propagating by propagating, we will go, Shizi will decide his move, I will decide my move. And at the end of the day, only one address will succeed, will be the final one. And that one final will determine who of us is going to get the reward in this case, who was the winner, because all the logic is going to be there. And it's interesting because we are going to sign every transaction and everything without that still be on chain. So we decide to propagate only once we decide what's the move. And that's the nature of Bitcoin. That's interesting. And that's what you have when you can calculate the fees and the transaction hash before submitting transactions. So all this nature is also available on Cardano. And in my opinion, it could be very interesting because it means that you could actually replicate the same thing that you are doing on Bitcoin in the very same way, step by step on Cardano. And if you do it on Bitcoin and you do it on Cardano you could even add smart contracts to simplify all these steps. So you could leave a signature on two chains as of proof that you did something. And this could be very interesting to make the bridge communicate on both sides.
Yeah. That's amazing. And so what it sounded like to me is basically through Bitcoin script, you can write a process of, okay, every scenario that could be done in this agreement. But they they go through the step by step and they're all logic, but they're written kind of separately. And then in the end, through the entire process, you determined who gets what and who gets what in the end for the final address. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Got
Exactly.
Yeah, so the
Indeed.
final address would receive like the ordinal, and then the receiver would obviously get the Bitcoin for that sale or something. So that's amazing. And so another thing too, really quick, is I remember you saying that, like, Cardano realized that using off-chain oracles wasn't that big of a deal in the end, right? Like, you guys ended up diving into that and saying, okay, we're going to use off-chain oracles for our smart contracts and our logic and all that, or for the pricing and all that stuff, right? So I bring that up because I feel like finally the developers on Bitcoin are saying, completely trustless is impossible, which I feel like they're smart, so they should have just accepted that a long time ago. But it might not be the developers; it might just be these people like me that act like they know what they're talking about, right? But the whole point that I'm making is that Bitcoin seems to kind of go towards that, saying, "Hey, look, if the off-chain indexer, or the off-chain computation is developed and into, it can be audited and all that stuff to make sure it's not compromised and stuff." Do you think that's how we're going to end up really growing our DeFi here on Bitcoin, is relying on that
So
solely?
I think that there are different paths, possible paths in this case, because we have been speaking, for instance, close to the script developers of BSV, and what they would like, and actually that would be perfect. Like, the perfect scenario would be OPCAT tomorrow. That would allow so many things directly on chain, and we would see. I'm not saying that we will see AMM on day one, but we would see probably way smoother tokens protocols, and even ZK verification directly on chain without all the steps of BitVM. So that's one thing. On the other hand, I think that once we are not just talking about just users on the Bitcoin side, but we have institutionals or important players in game. Once they are, for instance, the signature that is providing the Oracle provider or so on, and maybe they are not the only one, you can at that point having some kind of permissioned DeFi, where the ones that give the feed, for instance, for an Oracle, they have a stake in play. So if they give a bad feed, it's their reputation on stake. Maybe it's even their money on stake. So we are okay with using that because there is a reputation or something behind that feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth it. There's too much to lose, basically, is what you're saying, for them to mess up. And
Exactly.
and yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, man. So you guys are building on Cardano, you're building on Bitcoin, you're potentially building on Arch, potentially building on Stacks, potentially building on ICP. Then we realized there's a thing called Aquarium, right? That kind of maybe ties potentially everything together. Could you talk about that just for a minute or two?
Exactly. So the main issue that we saw once we wanted to do account abstraction, so making users on Bitcoin use any other network, so EVM or Cardano in this case, was that Cardano needs Cardano wallets, okay, and Bitcoin users have Bitcoin wallets. So how could we help to communicate this thing? And in the same way that ICP is using Bitcoin signatures to handle stuff, we can do it on Cardano. And to make it way easier, we need someone that is listening for these Bitcoin users and translating them to a Cardano transaction, allowing them to perform swaps, to mint tokens, and so on. So what Aquarium is actually a cool thing on Cardano, because allow automatic transactions. That's the very basic function that I'm really looking forward. So I would like to schedule a weekly payment, a monthly payment to someone, to an address, and I can set it up once a year and forget about it. Or I can even submit a Bitcoin signet transaction on Cardano network and propagate it. So I don't need to download a new wallet now. I can just use my Ledger wallet, Xverse, and so on, and play Cardano DeFi.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. So you're basically just using that one wallet, but your the aquarium in the back end is doing everything for you. Especially on what I want. For me, I use my Express wallet and I could do transactions on Cardano, right? So I'll just send it to that wallet. So it works as kind of like a smart wallet on Aquarium, and like I don't have to do no depositing, nothing like that, right? It would just kind of work for me as I'm going.
Exactly.
Amazing. And in the future, will stacks and all the other stuff kind of be pushed into Aquarium as well?
I think that it's possible. Stacks has the primitives in order to allow it. I think that they are pushing towards also that direction. So there will be different teams working on that, and I don't see it that far. Also, I think that the advantage that Stacks could have is that they already have the bridge for runes and Bitcoin to go directly on Stacks. So, and you can, and this is something that I realized lately. On Stacks, you can even pay your fees with Bitcoin itself. So if you don't have a Stacks tokens, you can still perform a transaction.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I could definitely see the way that like the Fluid team builds. I could see Aquarium being kind of a chain abstraction like center hub. So.
Yeah, and this is a tweet from Fluid Tokens, the Cardano one. It said, just in, the first Aquarium transaction on mainnet has been executed. Babe, fees are officially on Cardano. Pretty awesome.
No. Babel.
Babel fees.
Hey, I think
I thought it was an exclamation point.
He needs to go to the eye doctor. I've been telling him for weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
What is it? Could you explain what that means real quickly?
Yes. So in the same way that I say that Stacks allow you to pay for transaction with Bitcoin, we actually want to do it on Cardano. So you arrive, you use your Xverse Ledger wallet, but you don't have ADA, okay, to pay a transaction over there. How are you going to do? Well, if you have Bitcoin, then you can pay for the transaction with Bitcoin directly and forget about having to look for ADA. So this is what we want, and this really makes the transition for account abstraction very, very smooth.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome because 100%. And then our 2025 roadmap visualized. It looks pretty awesome. All the logos for each type of a blockchain platform. Pretty awesome there. So it's crazy how much you guys are building. It's when you take a step back and really kind of look into everything that you guys are working on. I would think you guys have over 100 team members, but it's probably just 6 of you guys that just don't sleep, right?
Yeah, indeed. We are growing actually. We have 2 more devs in our team. So that's why and how we manage to work on different fields.
Yeah. One of the coolest part of our job is to be able to, work with teams like Fluid and, also see like the ecosystem of teams in Bitcoin and the areas that we cover. And not to say anything bad about other teams, but, there's a certain level that like a strong team can push through and continually build. And that's exactly what Fluid does, in my opinion. It doesn't matter. You guys don't look at the price. You don't look at this and that. What you do is you set yourself up to have the resources that you need to be able to continually build. And that's the most important thing. So I'm excited about Fluid's future. Any last words that you have for our audience, for maybe anything to expect upcoming or anything?
No, I would just say keep looking at our Twitter. We are going to tweet some announcement hopefully next week, some releases. So, and let's talk on Discord or Twitter. We are always there and happy to answer all the questions that the community has.
Yep. Awesome. It's at Fluid Tokens. XBT is the Bitcoin one. At Fluid Tokens is the Cardano one. And if you wanted to reach out to Raul, his Twitter is at LEL Raulito _C NFT. But you can just find him on the Fluid thing. They're always retweeting him, stuff like that. Raul, man, it's been absolutely amazing, and would love to have you more often, man. Thank you so much for coming on today. Looking forward to the next time we have you on. I have so many more questions. Really appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks to you guys. Very, very a good opportunity to be here.
Awesome. All right. Bye, Raul. We'll talk soon.
Awesome, absolutely amazing. It's great to talk to Errol. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks here. We got a chance, so definitely had a lot of questions for him and what they're building there. But guys, it is officially it's still Friday, and every Friday we have our good friends from Embo Vault joining us. What an amazing show! Fluid Tokens and then Embo Vault back to back. Absolutely love it. Really awesome. We have a weekly meeting with Jake to kind of get updates, and the updates are just blowing my mind. What they're building there, they're building with Agent Hustle, and that's like the newest update. It's actually went live yesterday. If you haven't went to, I think it's agenthustle.ai. You guys need to go there. We're gonna do a tutorial on Friday, a step-by-step walkthrough. I'm sorry, on Sunday, a step-by-step walkthrough of everything you need to do. We're gonna walk you through all the tasks and everything. It's really simple. You probably don't need it, but if you want to do something, in the meantime, before you get started, we'll have a tutorial ready for you guys. So when you first go there, you'll basically say hello to Hustle. You'll send one soul there. That'll complete all the tasks, and you one by one, you just knock them all out. Really simple, but it's fun. It's exciting, and you're just doing everything with an AI. My experience was pretty seamless for sure.
Yep, for sure. And you can also there's a cool customer service tab too. If you click it, Adam McBride pops up, and he asks you what your problem is, and tries to get you to pick up some more Tensor. No, I was just kidding. No, but speaking of the devil.
Let's see if that button works. Ready? Set,
click it.
Go.
Oh, hey, we got some problems.
That's what my wife's got right here, bro. It's poppy in your pocket. That's what we call it, dude. It's literally just all day long. Buzz, buzz, buzz. My wife letting me know what I got to be doing and how to help. So and although it feels like that, Jake and I are, Jake calls it like notoriously online or whatever. I stopped checking my stats on my phone probably 2 years ago when it was just like 14 hours, 13 hours, 15 hours. There's no point, dude. It's like, I'm here. So yeah, if you have questions, hit me up, dude. It's like I'm 24/7, man. 24/7. This week's been great though. It's been a lot of fun getting Hustle out. The community did a great job. We sent out a lot. We had a lot of like beta testers. Just friends and family, you guys included, just people just trying it. That actually was great because, we caught, I don't know, 20, 30 different things that we were able to fix kind of preemptively, which made the experience way better for people. I think the biggest thing we ran into is just we got rate limited, man. It's like, I don't know how much we spent, on our back end this week, but it's, I don't know, 50 times what we normally spend, on our tech stack. So yeah, it's been great. That was kind of the biggest hiccup, was just getting rate limited by all our service providers. But that's a good sign.
Hell yeah, man. That's what you guys want. You want to max that shit out, right?
100%. And actually, people have already been like screwing around. Like one guy who was like, dude, I'm up 700% in my first hour with Hustle.
I saw that. I saw that post. He went from like 0.1
what are you even doing?
0.8 soul or something crazy like that.
I asked the dude, like, hey, what was the prompt you used?
Yeah.
He just put it in. I'll give it to you guys. I'll give it to you guys in a second. Yeah, it's like, this is what the vision of Hustle is, which is now, we're just still at the baby step, the most simple steps. But even at that, like being able to attach basically an intelligence layer to your wallet infrastructure is it's powerful stuff, man.
Yeah, man. But take us back to Friday morning to launch day. I'm just curious, like, what was going through the process of launching that? Obviously, you had a few beta testers, but taking it to public feels different. It is different, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. Now you're going to exploit it. There's a lot of different things that can happen, and there's probably a million things running through your mind. So can you just like break us down what the process was like Friday up until launch?
Sure. For me, it's I've done so many of these sort of things in my life that you do get comfortable with it, and you realize that even the best teams on earth, there will be problems. It's more about how you handle problems than anything else. So I don't get too nervous because I know our guys are amazing. I know Jake's amazing. He's amazing at customer service and front facing stuff, and I know that our devs are amazing, like just incredible. And so I know we can fix everything. The worst thing, it would be like a hack or something, which is like, that's always top of mind. But we spent a lot of time, on that. kind of over the last, well, since we've been building Hustle. That's always been top of mind. So, you know, basically at the end of the day, I know it's basically about mind share. Because I come from, like you guys, it's more of like a marketing perspective. I know for a fact that if Shannon built and came up with some magic button that let you press it and earn money, that if we couldn't get it out there and get it in people's hands, it wouldn't fucking matter. Like nobody would know about it. Right. And so, you know, we've been spending a ton of time. Just the new word is mind share, right? How do we kind of dominate mind share to just make people aware? And it's really hard. I mean, you guys know it is hard. The timeline is littered with stuff. And, you know, could it have been better? Sure. I mean, but we've just put in, you know, some effort. Not only, I think part of it, like the secret sauce to me is actually, you know, it's kind of ridiculous to say it, but community, but having, you know, 50, 100 people who I know personally, who I can be like, hey man, we just launched this today. You want to check it out? You know, and just that word for me, you know, people talk about it, tweet about it, and use it, you know. And I think that from my perspective, like my part of the thing is just like, how do I, you know, that takes years, you know. It's literally, I don't know, 8 years in crypto, building up those relationships where you can, you know, you're not asking for a favor. You're saying, hey man, this is what I'm doing. And people just support naturally, just as I would for them if they were sending me a message, you know. So I think for us, that's like the core level of the strategy. And then now what we're moving to now, and this is where I get really excited, like with Jake, when we start talking about like, how are we going to strategize marketing? Part of it for me now is, I don't know what's going to be the thing that hits, but I know that if we get this in enough people's hands and enough people doing crazy stuff with Hustle, there's going to be a viral moment on Twitter. Like there just is. It's going to be somebody making it, you know, $20,000 in 5 minutes or something. It's going to happen because there's just no way that if you connect these AI agents to your wallet infrastructure, that crazy stuff is going to happen. Like it's going to. And now it's possible. And we've already seen it, like in the first day, you know, guys doing crazy stuff with it. And so, yeah, that's when it becomes really fun. And me just kind of supporting the community as they build out stuff, you know.
That's crazy. Yeah, I saw that post and I was just like, And then right underneath, like there was like multiple comments, and it's like, drop prompt, please, or something like that. It's like it replacing like drop CA is now going to be drop prompt for Agent Hustle. You know, like they're not asking for a contract anymore. They're asking for the easy prompt for them to just do it, right? So, got an on-chain monkey fan down here, super fan, says he loves the hat.
Of course, bro. Of course. I literally, so this was the prompt the guy said. He said, he asked Hustle to pick 10 tokens split between trending, pre-graduate, and graduate. So he's obviously in the pump fund tab, right? And invest 0.01 SOL in each. That's it. That was the strategy.
That's and so then simple. And then he looked back and then saw that he was up and he sold himself.
He did. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The interesting thing, this is like, and this goes back to actually like my college days, right? I was taking where I've learned, you think something's simple, but sometimes because it's so simple, other people just aren't doing it, right? And, you know, we tend to overcomplicate things. And for a small trader where this guy's investing, you know, 1 SOL total or something like that, dude, there are margins, there's pieces all over the place to make money, right? If he's investing $1 billion, there's not as many, right? There's just, you can't, it's not, the scale is not the same. And I'm reminded of, I took a class in college where it was an investing class where literally the start of the semester, they, you know, give you a certain amount of imaginary money, right? And whoever has the most money at the end wins, right? Me being super lazy, I never went to class or whatever, but I did invest. In my investment strategy, there was like a free version of it. What was it called? The Investor Business Daily. It was like this old-timey investment newspaper. And I actually came up with a strategy. I was like, any stock that lost whatever, more than 10% of its value in the previous 24 hours, and whatever I did the strategy. Like I made like 3 trades that semester and I won the tournament. Right.
Wow.
It was like, And the guy, when I went to the final class, I'll never forget. The teacher was like, "In a surprising victory," because I'd never been to the class, dude. He didn't even know who I was. Right? All his investment advice and studying charts and whatever. I picked the right strategy. I traded 3 times and I won the course. Right? It was like, so there are opportunities like that for small investors like you guys and I. And I think Hustle is going to make exploring those opportunities really, really exciting and easy to do.
Yeah. 100%. And this is just the first thing that Hustle's doing, right? It's Solana, but eventually down the line, Hustle's going to be on multiple different chains, right? That's going to be really big because he's going to be able to help you go from one chain to the other. He's going to be help you make a strategy on all 3 different chains. There's so much more this can be, and this is just the very early days of something truly special. But it's just funny. You guys are competing with some big players in the space. We're talking Hey Anon, we're talking Orbits, we're talking like a bunch of them, and you guys have, to me, and this is just my opinion, but a very seamless product, even better than some of the other ones.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's we're coming for the wallets, dude. At the end of the day, like MetaMask. I saw today MetaMask is basically spinning, or it was yesterday. They're diving into the what we use as our underlying tech lit protocol. They're basically creating a lit protocol so they can begin to move into this sector, right? And it's like, great.
Yeah, MetaMask copy.
You're fucking you're 8 months behind. Good luck catching up. Like I'd put our money on us in that. Like, do I think MetaMask is going to be efficient in rolling this thing out and getting it going? No, I don't. So like I'm super bullish, and all that sort of stuff. It's like the cross-chain stuff. Even just taking a simple example for, the smooth brain guys like myself, it's like I have assets all over the place, right? I have them on Dogecoin and Bitcoin, Ethereum, God help me, tons on Solana, right? I can't watch Bells. I can't watch any of, I don't watch my stuff. Yet I probably have 15,000 NFTs. How many ordinals do I have? I don't know. I have no idea what they're even doing. It'd sure be nice to have somebody like me, who's a lot fucking smarter than me, who can just watch all that shit 24/7. If something pops, boom, sells. Something dumps, buys, right? Whatever, dude. Rebalance the motherfucker all across all these chains. Like, dude, I mean, if you, I don't know, man. I am bubbly excited for that because I know that is a deep need.
100%. First of all, it sounds like you're RAF because you got all that assets, right? No, I'm just kidding. But no,
they're all worth 0, bro.
Oh, they're all dust or subscriptions. No, but I agree. I think I'm excited for conditional to come out with when conditional comes out with Hustle. I'm the type of person, that's why I think I use leverage more than spot, is because I have my spot stuff that I'm not going to touch, right? But I'm talking about trading spot, like from a intelligent type of trader. Spot probably is the least amount of risk, right? Because you're not ever going to liquidate yourself. You could get stuck in a trade forever, but it doesn't matter. But the problem is that people that like to trade, they can't sit there and you have to sit there and look at the charts constantly, you know what I mean? If you use leverage. But what you can do with conditional, with what's supposed to coming up with Hustle, is setting these conditions. Every time Solana drops by 10%, buy this much, and then whenever it regains 20%, sell this much. You know what I mean? And do that on repeat. I mean, it's the people that take advantage of these early on, I think are gonna get make a lot of money, and then eventually it'll get to the point where more and more people utilize it, so it'll be harder. But at the end of the day, if you take advantage of this in the first 3 to 6 months, as people are trying to learn it, man, you can make a lot of money, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but if it hits the conditional, what I think the conditional prompts are going to be, man, this could be a huge opportunity for the early onboarders, right?
That's what I'm trying to get the word out now, is that it's going to get good really fast. And we all know that the early adopters to these new things, they're the ones that make all the money, right? Because by the time it's totally normal and everybody's using it, the margin of those trades is gone, right? So yeah, being first, and I'm encouraging people now, just go in there, use it, learn it, right? So you know how it works. And then when the conditional rolls out or something that kind of piques your interest rolls out, you're ready, and you can be one of the first people to, take advantage of it. And whatever. I mean, what do we have? 150 kind of 200 users right now or whatever, dude. That's the early days, right? We need 100x more than that, 1000x more than that, right? But by the time there's 1000x more, again, the opportunity shrinks. And so the little bit of friction now to like get into hustle, figure it out, learn how it works. And I mean, dude, it's simple. But even doing that now and getting ready, and then you can start like playing around with these opportunities. Like if you see something like whatever I saw, back in college, but you see something today that you're like, let me just try that. Let me do that stupid one that guy just did. Like buy one on each of the, and see what happens. And holy shit, I made money, or I didn't make much money, or I didn't make any money. Okay, I can move on and try something else, right? But it gives you this ability to begin playing around right now, which is, I think, dude, this is, believe it or not, this is cutting edge, right? This is cutting. I mean, even if you're using like Photon or whatever, and you're setting like limit orders, right? They let you set like one limit order, right? Doesn't let you set like tiers and ladders and all this sort of stuff that you might want to try out. So
and people don't realize prompting is going to be next level. Being an excellent prompter. Being an excellent prompter is going to be like being an HTML programmer, right? It is going to be like, holy shit, what you make this thing do is absolutely insane. And all I type it is, hey, do this for me. But people who can actually take the prompt and actually get the prompt from the AI itself. Right?
That's what I was going to say. The best way to get a good prompt is ask Hustle what would be a good prompt.
Yeah. Actually, that was a video that I pulled up, and it's basically you tell the AI to act as a prompt engineer and give you the best thing. But I will say this, I was actually thinking exactly what Shizzy just said, is that okay, AI started coming out in terms of like the workforce, and I think it was like late 2022, mid 2022, to where it was being, used a lot, right, for blogs and stuff like that. I did for my digital marketing company, but I will say this, that there was a very small percentage of the users that were dove into the prompt the prompt development skill part of the prompting, to where they could you could use different plugins and stuff to automate your work. I mean, there was a couple people at my company that were just dude, I just show up to my meetings, and my AI and me, they're doing so much. So what the thing that changes that to make it from a small group of people to a more and more is monetary incentive, right? And so that's where I think Shizzy's right, that people are going to be motivated to become prompt experts, here, because they're going to figure out what their system works, and just constantly generating passive income, really, in a sense, right? But you have to get it right. So
yeah, you gotta maximize. You got to get better, right? Obviously, you got to be interested. It's interesting, you're talking about digital marketing, and my kid is, pretty good at creation of channels, of YouTube channels and stuff. I think we've talked about that before. He crushes, and so I've talked to him about AI, and of course you see all these people pushing oh, AI will create your video for you and all that sort of stuff. But I don't see that as much as I see, to your point about the blog posts back in the day and stuff like that. What the smart people are doing is they're seeing AI and they're adding it into their workflow, right? They're making it a part of what they're doing, right? So the odds that somebody could just set an AI and it's going to grow a YouTube channel like my kid, where he's got, 500 million views on his YouTube channel, that's zero. There's no way that's going to happen. But if you take somebody skilled and you push in AI to that skilled person, that's where the real superpower is. That's the way I'm seeing it right now. That might change, but that's the way I'm seeing it now, is that this is an enhancement, and trying to figure out how you, as maybe a crypto trader or a collector, NFT collector, or whatever, how the AI can help you that's actually the strongest suit. And so like, even like, let's step away from the trader for a second. Let's just go to like a collector. So I'm a historic NFT collector, right? But I don't have time to like look at floor prices of historical NFTs, or I don't have time to like undercut the bid and put low bids on stuff that I actually want, right? But I see all the time, my friends are like, bro, just picked up a grail for nothing, right? Well, what are they doing? They're literally spending hours a day putting like low bid offers on these high-end art pieces. And once in a while, somebody will be like, shit, I got to get out. I got to sell this today because I got to pay my kid's school or whatever. And this guy's picking up grails for literally like pennies, right? But he's manually doing that process. This is like that sort of thing that like AI can actually do for you. And Hustle hopefully can do for you in the future for sure.
100%. And the biggest thing is for me is time. If I had more time, the stuff I could do is insane. AI and things like Hustle are here to give me back my time, to give me back time to where I don't have to go to my wallet. I don't have to go to, Radium or any decks or anything like that. I can just have him do it for me, which gets me back more of my time to do research on the next project or the next thing, or interview the next person or create the next set of content. We need more time, and AI is that. It's giving us our time back.
Totally. I mean, for us as crypto natives, like we see a lot of uses for it. But I think also for like, we don't necessarily connect with like the normie who just wants to whatever, do something. And I think that's where we're going to get mass adoption for Hustle, is just like, you want to give it to your brother who doesn't know shit about crypto and stuff. But hey man, I want to buy some XRP. It's like, okay, great. Download Hustle. Right. And that way you're not going to screw shit up. You're not going to get screwed. Hustle's going to kind of take care of him, and you'll feel comfortable with that, rather than telling them to, get a seed phrase and store it on a piece of paper.
Onboarding.
Onboarding. This is, I'm convinced, and we've talked about this before, I'm convinced this is the best onboarding tool to crypto ever. And it's, in a year, it's going to be the way people come into crypto. I'm convinced of that for sure.
Yeah, man. I want to kind of get into the Hustle directives, if you don't mind. So this is something that I've been knocking out. Created. I sent some Solana. I said hello. We talked for a bit. I told him I'm shizzy. We swapped, LP, pump. And the first thing I do with AI is I'm very simple. The first thing I tell it to normally do is like, hey, like I want the least amount of words possible in every conversation. And Hustle remembered that.
Oh, you do that too? Okay, yeah.
I have to. I can't deal with this much words. My brain can't comprehend. And I say, hey, talk to me on a third grade level.
Hustle is a fucking blabbermouth. Shut up, Hustle, bro. You gotta tell him, man. You gotta tell him.
So I did all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I see up here there is, I put in like 1.5 Solana. I messed around, bought some stuff. I love the technology. I love testing things out. I was trying to break Hustle, and I wasn't able to do it. Good job for you guys, right? Like I like to experiment and do weird stuff with Ogi, like I bought down here, and a bunch of other bullshit, right? Stupid shit that I was doing. But I did notice this rewards tab. Fully unlock Agent Hustle capabilities with Fuel, TNSR. Could you maybe, I don't know how much you guys have public yet. I do. We've talked to Jake, so I just want to be sure before we set anything on Sunday's tutorial video. But is there anything you could tell us about this that maybe we don't know?
I'll tell you this. Use Hustle now. People who use Hustle are going to be rewarded, right? It's just, that's the way it's going to be. So yeah, people who are using it now, getting comfortable with it now, there will be a reward mechanism for people who are using it 100%. So yeah,
awesome.
Use them for sure.
Thank you for that. Right,
no
cool.
farming. I know you guys. You're going to set up Hustle to farm himself. You're going to have a bunch of hustlers.
I've already thought about it, bro. I've already thought about it.
Well, dude, this is the thing, man. And I don't know. I just, if you guys, Jake was like, I think Jake said, hey, if you wanted to walk through with you guys, I'm set up if you wanted to walk through the things, but if not,
let's do it.
You're doing it later with Jake. That's cool too. But the idea, and this will be out within like a month. Shannon's already got it figured out, like how to do it. Which is basically the agent itself can control a web browser. And I'm sure you've seen that pop over the last, few weeks. But Hustle's going to have that native capability where it gets very exciting from like a farmer's perspective. You know, I know a bunch of guys who are actually already using Hustle who are basically professional airdrop farmers. That's their job. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know. I mean, I knew people farmed.
It makes sense though.
Yeah.
But dude, I met a couple dudes in Denver who like, you know, $500,000 to $1 million a year airdrop farming.
Oh my gosh.
Professionals, bro. And you know, I was explaining Hustle and they were like, oh yeah, let's do, oh yeah. Because they know what they can do is they can set in random stuff, random times, random, you know, times when you got to go click or random time. I mean, half these, what they were talking about was like setting up LP pools and like, you know, so they don't lose any money, but they're just continually providing, you know, LP and stuff like that. And to maximize the rewards. And when I'm describing Hustle, they're like, oh man, licking their chops because they're managing, you know, multiple 20 to 100 different, you know, users or accounts. And it's a lot of work, you know, and having an AI system to help them with that is a big deal. And I mean, we all can, you know, take advantage of that. It would be pretty awesome. So Hustle having that ability to interact with web browsers is going to be pretty sick. I'm psyched not only for the you know, airdrop farming and that sort of thing, but also for like, you know, we've had video game developers who are building Web3 games already reach out and be like, hey, can we, you know, hook Hustle into our video game to like,
nice, dude, that's good.
You know, do that sort of stuff. Actually, one guy was like, hey, can we get Hustle? Because he knows Shannon has this like deep history of gaming and farming in game currencies and stuff like that. And he's like, can you build me one to help me make sure I'm catching the bots, right? So make advanced Hustle to come after the game and try to farm the game so that I can detect the AI bots, you know, coming in to help prevent it. So yeah, there's a lot of use cases that I don't know, man. It's just, this is the thing, man. I'm getting too bullish on it, but it's super bullish, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't bullish, I'd be worried, right? When you're building a project, you're like, yeah, it's okay.
You gotta if you're not bullish on what you're building, what are you building? Like, it can't be that good, right? I mean, this is and I've obviously been very psyched about what we're doing with cross-chain stuff, but this is next level. This is something.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You build things, especially, you know, in tech and crypto, and the way the market moves just moves your business completely. I don't think, you know, a year ago, nobody on our team had any idea this was even going to be like a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And here we are, where I think we're like completely perfectly positioned to, you know, either dominate the wallet market or just somebody's going to come to us and be like, you know, Photon's going to come to us and be like, hey, we need this, you know, one or the other is going to happen. And if it's not us, it's going to be somebody. Just completely take over wallet infrastructure, man.
Love it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I do agree. I think that the wallet game with the AI is this is the next part, right? It's kind of like you saw the AI craze the end of last year and then beginning of this year, and it was cool to launch them because there was a lot of like exciting things to say about them. And then you had that first level of AI expertise. It wasn't even really like it was productive for that project, but not like for the community necessarily, right? Yeah, right. It's kind of like, oh, cool, but everybody like gasped so much on that. Like, was just kind of like, oh my god, like AI expertise is so huge. I mean, like even like Taproot Wizards put $1 million at the top into that investment.
Did they really put it
at 500 million market cap, right? Yeah. I mean, they fell for it. Everybody did, right? And
wow.
But it was kind of like, when's the substance coming to where like the community can use it or like users can use it? And that's the thing that like I feel like our entire space has been struggling with for a long time, except for DeFi. Yeah, you could do things, individually, but now we actually get to use this to benefit us, right? And that's the game changer. Once that happens on large scale, that's when retail adopts our space and stuff like that. And then eventually those retail people won't even know how it works, but they'll it's like the internet. They'll be using it every day in 5 years from now or whatever. So this is exciting stuff. I can't wait to, really get into these conditional trades, because discipline is like the biggest downfall for traders, right? But if your AI agent is trading for you, you just tell them, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want. And then now you can live your life and then come back, and you're actually not like, you can do self-reflection, look in the mirror, and you don't look like a cracked out degen because you've been looking at the charts all day, because AI or Hustle's been doing that for you, right?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's funny what you said. I totally forgot about Udi buying AI XBT at the top. That's hilarious, man. It's funny because I actually talked to the founder of AI XBT the other day on X. And they're building an entire like back end with all this like proprietary, data and analytics that they're building out, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool. But I asked him, I said, because they're in theory going to make, like, you're going to pay to access a dashboard of information. And my point was, hey, once you make that information like purchasable, like I can purchase it, and Yago's purchased it, and Chizzy purchased it, and like, so there are 3 of us who have purchased it now. Doesn't like the VIG go to 0? Because basically I'm just dumping on you and you're dumping on me, and then it's like nothing. Then the information, if basically the information is completely out there, don't you lose the value of the information? Like, wouldn't it be better to just keep it in house and like trade off the information? And he had a good point. He's like, yeah, it probably would be, basically. But he just wants, they think that the information's so deep that, oh, well, people still be able to make, money on it. And I don't know. It seems somewhat unlikely to me that you'll be able to make money on that, because you just know, like, the moment, if you get a sentiment indicator that Bitcoin's going to crash and the sentiment on the timeline is terrible, I mean, where's the value of that information if everybody has access to the information at the same time? It just, I don't know, doesn't seem likely to me that that's going to be a success. But I don't know. I mean, they've certainly built something amazing. I've given them a lot of credit on the timeline. I think AI XBT is really, actually, they've done an incredible job. But
yeah, and they were the first to actually use X, right? They were the first to kind of be out there and first being to be really used, right? I mean, that's
first to be a successful
biggest advantage. Yeah, the first real advantage, besides like ChatGPT and all these other billion-dollar companies, they were the first person to do it with a crypto token, right? And then that first is a lot of advantage. But if you don't take advantage of that advantage, then it's nothing, right? So, and it seems like you guys didn't have that advantage, but you guys are taking full advantage of what is going on right now.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think to a degree, it's like, and obviously our token has done the full crazy run up.
Yeah.
And part of it too, it's like, so I think we were yesterday we touched like number 6 on total mind share of all agents. So there's like 1,500 agents, and we're number 6, and our market cap is like, touches like, I don't know. It dropped, on that news, it dropped to like 1.5 million market cap. And you look at the top 10, and the next lowest was like 25 or 30 million. And you're going, what does this even mean? Like, how does this make sense? And it just doesn't. You have to get comfortable with the market often not making any sense, right, at all. And so whatever, I try not to focus too much on the token. I try to focus, and because there's nothing I can control there. What I can control is the narrative we put out, information products, try to find the thing that's exciting for people. And nothing excites the timeline like making money, man. I mean, that's just
true.
At the end of the day, you got to get people rich. That's the way it works. And the reason Emblem found success was before, and I think Jake probably told you this number. It's like there were like over 70 people that made over $1 million trading rare Pepes through Emblem Vault, right? It's like 70 millionaires who are going to love your product,
Yes,
right?
100%.
And that kind of thing, like, that gets around, and people learn. And so if we help people, make money or protect their wealth or whatever, word will get around. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. I want to say real quick, the AI XPT part, I felt like was a really crucial part of the run up of last year, end of last year and beginning of this year. And it was this, it showed the power of the social dynamic of it, because Eliza, AI 16, Z was already out, GOAT was already out, and they were kind of like heating up, right? Obviously they made some big market caps. But once AI XBT kind of was just like everywhere on Twitter, that's what like set virtuals off. And then that thing just skyrocketed with everything else. And so I agree that like this next kind of big moment for AI is going to be, a wallet situation, to where you, like you mentioned, someone cashes in 5 figures first, and then eventually, if anybody reports that they cashed in 6 figures, it's a wrap. At that point, like, like at $1.8 million market cap for Tensor, to me,
is that what it is? This
yeah. I mean, but I just feel like it's such a for one of those events to happen, 5 figure, 6 figure, that's going to blow that market cap up, in my opinion. Totally. Not financial advice, but
no, I mean, but I feel the same way, and we obviously feel the same way. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, so much of what Jake feels like we're in this cycle is actually like the social layer cycle. And I think it is to a degree. And AI XBT kind of highlighted that. I think what's clear is that people are really excited about AI agents communicating or interacting with other AI agents. We saw that, maybe a week, 10 days ago with Grok, basically people tricking Grok into asking for a token from Banker, which created the token using, Clanker, right? People got very excited for that. But I mean, that was really like humans were very involved in that process.
Yeah.
Very involved, right? We could say, I say tricked, whatever you want to say. Like I was trying to do it too. I'm on there like, hey, Grok, send me money. Everybody's trying to trick these agents, right? And so we're all doing that stuff. But that tells me that there's this like mind share. These humans get very excited for this idea of like what the robots can do. And if I just think about them as robots and AI agents and stuff, the AI agents working with each other, this idea of like swarms, which is still like, it's still an idea. Nobody's really doing it yet. We've already had like literally yesterday, we had like 5 people reach out. How can I connect my AI agent to Hustle? Right. And this is what we're talking about, like swarm technology. When this actually happens, when it happens, like for real. And I don't know what's going to happen. It's AI agents creating a meme coin and trading with each other. I don't know, dude. I literally have no idea what it's going to be. But when it happens, you will fucking know. The entire timeline will know. It will be the number one thing on the timeline. It will be the only thing people talk about. And I think Hustle is actually like we're getting completely uniquely positioned to be that, for that to happen, engaging with Hustle. And maybe it's, Banker interacting with Hustle, and that happens and they launch a fucking Banker 2.0 token, or I have no idea what happens, right? No idea. But this is where it gets like really cool, because the timeline and people can get creative and the agents can get creative. And I have no clue what it's going to be, but I know it's going to be something, because we've already seen signs. Like it's already happened. Like, oh my God, it's the GOAT token, which is like, dude, it was done by like a dude who tricked the bot to just be like, okay, or whatever. And that was like, oh, it's a GOAT token. Bro, it's going to get so much more intricate and coordinated and cool than that. Like, that's just like the first little baby steps. And we're going to see some, like, I know we're going to see some other crazy stuff, and it's going to completely dominate the timeline. And people will literally make tens of millions of dollars. So be ready, bro. Be fucking ready, dude. Well, and the best way to be ready is like, get your fucking AI agent out there. Fucking get him watching. Maybe they fucking coordinate, and Hustle coordinates with Banker, and all of a sudden anybody who's got an agent can connect into the fucking thing, and you get your guy in there, and all of a sudden you and Hustle are making money. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be something, dude.
What if Hustle makes a whole bunch of money and then airdrops to all Hustle users, right? I mean, who knows, right? It's definitely a possible. No, just kidding. That's definitely something you might see, right? So But you look like you have it loaded up. Would you mind?
Yeah, we can walk
walking us through it.
Absolutely. Hold on. Let me just make sure. Can you guys see my wallet there? Or I guess it doesn't show on the wallet there. No. But do you want to bring up the screen? Or you want to bring it up?
I'm having trouble. There it goes.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just. Can I make that big? Can you see that, guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Cool. So you just click Connect Wallet Phantom. Are you able to see the Phantom or no?
No,
in the top right. I see it in the top right.
You did see it. Okay, cool. So you just click, you connect your wallet kind of normal style.
You can't use Magic Eden right now, right?
Can't use Magic Eden. You'll be able to kind of going forward.
Okay.
Actually, no, you're not even seeing my you're not seeing my screen. Here, hold on.
Yes, StreamYard, the wallet has like a protector in it that doesn't pop it up for Phantom.
Okay. You're getting it now though. You got it now. Okay. So if I click generate.
Oh, yeah.
So what this does, basically, this creates a vault, right? So this isn't like a traditional, basically, emblem vault. But the reality was that what it is actually a smart wallet. And so this wallet, now you're going to get a pop-up, which you're not seeing, but you're getting a pop-up, which is just asking me to confirm. Okay. And so that's basically confirmed it. Now, if I click away from this, you'll see the actual like interface, the Hustle interface pop up. And you'll see that these are all locked, right? The swaps, the LP, the pumps, everything is locked, right? So to get it going, you actually got to click the directives, and that brings this up here again. So if you ever like X away or whatever, you make a mistake, you can always refresh the page. You can't really do anything wrong. And you just come back up to the directives. And the first directive is to just deposit one SOL into the wallet. And when I do that, the Phantom wallet will pop up. And I'm going to confirm it. And so that'll just confirm it. And what that's doing is transferring the one SOL from my Phantom wallet into the vault, right? So that money's mine. It's not like that's a payment that goes to us or anything. That's just basically loading your vault up with one SOL. And then you just click message here. And the whole point of us doing this is just to kind of, so everybody gets a feel of like, how do I use Hustle? Like, this is how you use it, right? So when this wakes up Hustle, right, basically gives a prompt, which is like, hey, Agent Hustle, like, I'm excited to learn more. And so now my chat is open with Hustle. I have my balances here, which has my one SOL right here. One important little piece here is the refresh button on the top left-hand corner. Sometimes if you make a transaction, this wallet or this view here doesn't necessarily refresh. So just hit that refresh button. And so now I can chat with Hustle and begin talking to him and asking him stuff, right? And one of the cool things about Hustle, which I know you guys know, but first-time listeners might not know, is that he has persistent memory. So he now is connected to my wallet, and he actually will remember our conversations. So he'll remember trading strategies. He'll remember all our past kind of conversations. He'll remember that, I like buying SOL at 115, but I hated buying at 180, right? So he'll remember all this stuff for you. So you can actually begin creating like a relationship with him now and talking to him about your, trading strategies and stuff right now. So next thing we do is we just do a swap. This basically asks asks Hustle to buy 25,000 Tensor at whatever the market price is. And he'll basically run through it. And this is just like any LLM. He'll run through what does that actually look like, right? So it's got to get the pricing, figure it all out, and then ask me if I want to go through with the transaction. So you can actually see his process right here. This is actually the way he thinks about it. And he asks, would I like to do it? And he'll just execute. like that. And I'll show you in a second. Like, you don't have to, if you don't want to interface with him this way, if you know exactly what you want to do, you can just go to the swap tool, which is up on the top here, and actually just do the swap. But we'll let Hustle do it for us, just so you guys can get a feel for like how it actually works, right? And so he's done the transaction now. There's the hash or whatever. I can go look on Zolscan and actually see the transaction, right? So he does that anytime he does a transaction. He pops up the link and everything, and you can see all the details here, right? And like before I said, this doesn't always refresh. So if I click the refresh button, my Tensor token, there it is. It just popped right up, right? So it's pretty seamless. But now my swap is now open. So now if I want to actually go in and manually, swap for tokens, so I want to swap, Sol for Tensor or Tensor for Sol or whatever it is, you come in and you just use this here as you normally would. Or if you don't want to, you can just still use the chat interface, right? So we wanted to, and Jake, really gets credit with this. He created this way where visually I can see what's actually happening, on the left-hand side. To what actually, if I want to chat and talk about it on the right, is just have it done on the right? So
I love that.
It's pretty awesome. And obviously there are going to be lots of, basically these
applications,
side apps on the left. There's going to be dozens, right? Obviously we can't have them all there. But what the app does is, like, when a person wants to see it, Hustle's going to be able to bring these up. And, you want to see how a liquidity pool is done. Here it is, right? But if not, you can just chat with him and just do it over chat, which we think is really the future for the vast majority.
100%.
Like LPs, like, honestly, I think I may have done one before. I can't even remember during what tokens, but like, I would never do LPs, right? But now with Hustle, man, it's like, oh, you can do LPs, man. Why not? Put your tokens to work. Like, this is what DeFi is, right? And I'm like, we talk about it all the time, but few of us do it. I mean, I know there are people who do it, and they do it full time. Like, this is their job. But like, for normies like me, providing LP is not something I'm going to do ever before Hustle, right? I think this is just one of these cool things. It's just a value unlock and just makes crypto better for everybody. So yeah, he's going through and he'll look at the different thing. So basically we asked to open a AMM with $10 in Sol Tensor pool. So it's asking me, would I like to do it? I click yes. And Hustle will go to work creating the liquidity pool, or adding my 2 tokens, my Sol Tensor, into the pool. And I'm suddenly in DeFi now, bro. I'm DeFiing, staking tokens, liquidity pools, all this stuff, right? So yeah, that's basically the way it works. And you can see, I mean, this takes time, right? He's interacting with contracts and stuff. You can see at the top, it says Hustle is thinking. If he gets hung up or whatever, you can always just refresh the page and try again or whatever. But yeah, this is the future, dude. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, my first experience with it was super quick to the comparison, right? Like I was doing something on the side, like for the show, and I was coming back, and I'd be like, all right, I probably have a few minutes now, I can knock this thing out. But then as soon as I would get over there, I would have to immediately go back because he was done. So I was kind of shocked at how quick it really was, because I'm somebody who's done LPs on Ethereum. I've done LPs all over the place, right? And it takes some time sometimes to make sure they go through and they're the proper and stuff.
Sure.
And especially when you're messing with smart contracts, and someone like this feature that you guys have was like, I think it was definitely quicker than normal, and I could kind of read step by step of exactly what he did, which was nice, because sometimes when I did it, I'd be like, oh no, I put way too much ETH in there that I wanted to, and then or just like it wasn't to the exact number that I wanted it to be.
Yep. Yeah. So this is like, like you said, it walks you. He you're seeing his thought process as he does it, which I think is helpful for us. but again, here's the, the manual interface where, if you wanted to actually, do this stuff yourself, you can, right? Manually. I'm probably not going to do it that way, but it's all there. And yeah, it's just, I just think it's really, really cool. Just to interface with that and see how it kind of works and see how it all functions. And the final step is just the pump.
This is where I lost money. This is where I was messing around too hard.
I mean, this is the thing. It's like this is actually one good point here with the pump funds, especially because you know how it's so crazy fast up and down. We did set hustle, and you'll be able to edit this later, but we set them at like a 10% slippage. Just to protect people from getting wrecked.
That makes sense because there was a bunch of trades that wasn't going through for me. But that was probably, I think Yago was actually telling me that. He's like, "You sure?" I was like, "Damn, trade's not going through." But it was probably because of that 10% slippage that you guys had.
It's the slippage for sure.
Okay.
That's just to try and protect people from getting completely destroyed, right?
Gotcha.
You'll be able to edit that though, shortly. The devs are working on that right now for sure.
Gotcha.
To basically, just like you can on other platforms, you can set the slippage for, whatever your kind of preference or tolerance is, and certainly with some of these, graduating or near graduating tokens, you gotta kind of maybe adjust the slippage depending on the activity and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that looks like a degen coin right there.
Bro, what's this like? There we go.
Well, that one for sure. No, the other one didn't even have a picture. It said like,
bro,
right?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I actually don't think he even bought one. Did you even buy one? I don't think he bought one.
I bought a few. Yeah. I got OG.
You did buy one?
Yeah, I bought a bunch of them. And some of them show up unknown. Like, let me show you on my screen real quick. When I did buy them.
Yeah, they're working on that.
Gotcha.
Some of these still, there's this thing, Pump Fund, and it's probably going to be different now because you see Pump Fund's basically using their own, they're not using whatever radium anymore or whatever.
Yeah, that's nuts,
it's
dude.
Crazy,
I heard about
that. And so there is this thing where pulling the API from Pump, which you can't even pull it from Pump. They don't provide it. You have to pull it. So there's the thing. I think we're getting some lost in translation where we don't get the name, right?
Yeah.
So
of
here
course that has to go through right as you launch, right? Like it would have been fine. It was all radium.
It's like we have to change our entire back end, right? It's all good though, Ed. But yeah, that's crazy with Pump Fund. I was like, I think I tweeted out yesterday. It's like, are we gonna just rename Solana Pump or whatever? I don't even know.
Dude, they're gonna have their own chain. They're gonna fork it.
They're literally taking over. They're taking over the entire chain, right? It's like
Pump Fund?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a war going on right now between Radium and them, and so it's kind of like, I don't know if Radium's trying to get away from the negative kind of publicity that Pump Fund got, the past couple of months, but it was just so funny though. It was like right after Radium announced they're launching their launch pad for meme coins, Pump Fund the very next day or half day announced they're launching the DEX, and I was just like, they must be fighting.
Look at this though. Ready? Look at this. This is Pump Fund. Look at this giant red candle. This is the announcement from Pump Fund.
That's the radium. This
is the Ray USD chart from OKX, and you can just see how, I mean, it was already on a downtrend, right? Like it wasn't really doing great as it is, but that line right there was the announcement, and then boom. I mean, we went from $4 to $1.70 just on that news.
What Radium? Why would Radium dump though?
Because they're not going to use Radium DEX no more.
That was like 95% of their business.
It was Pump Fund.
It's crazy.
Pretty crazy. Let's jump back to dealers.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I got the confetti. It went through. So now I have my what I bought a Tough Dog. So everybody jump into that token. That's gonna be.
I'm in it right now. Let's go. Tough Dog to the moon, baby.
Sell it all. All right, look, I'm up 4% already. So let's try. Let's see.
Take profit, bro.
Take profit, bro. Sell it immediately. So basically,
you made $1.
I made $1. Well, It was like my first, I want to say my first real like introduction to meme coins on Solana. I mean, this was over a year ago, right? But it was like, you know, getting rugged for like $5, you know, or $10. Like I'd never experienced that on Ethereum, right? Like if I got rugged on Ethereum, it was like $1,000, $500, you know, something. This was like, no, the dude nuked the chart for $5. You know, that was a wake up call. That was stunning, you know, to me. Yeah, but
hey,
that's
if you do that 100 times, make $500 that day, right?
Hey man, I don't fade it, dude. I don't fade it, and I know there are guys who literally do that. Yeah, God bless them, man. You know, but it's just, yeah, I ain't got
it's
time.
Stupid though, because all you have to do is spend a little bit of time with it, a little less tokens and more time with the project, and you can have that thing go, you know, 10, 20, 30x and take a little bit of profits. But
yeah, I agree.
Choices.
So there we go. We got the full details.
Yeah.
And now I'm ready to dump on your ass. I'm gonna fucking sell this.
Don't do it, dude. I'm gonna get in.
But dude, basically, it's still early. It's $5,000 market cap. Hurry.
Yeah. For everybody to know that basically then opens up all your tabs, right?
Yeah.
So now, you know, that's just basically, we wanted to onboard people. In theory, you're gonna spend, I don't know, whatever, 30 or 40 bucks. But the reality is you still own those tokens. You can just sell them right away and, you know, get back to zero, or get back to full, basically. The whole idea, you know, this is not a money-making enterprise at all. This is just to get people comfortable with the interface, right? Like how this works, why this is here, right? So that, okay, now I can create LP pools, or now I know how pump works. And now it gets interesting, right? Now we get the degens who literally are like, okay, Hustle, what you're going to do is I mean, he took basically the 3 tabs here, which are the newly created, about to graduated, and recent graduated, and like create a metric around those, you know, buy one of each at a certain amount, and then, you know, and see where that goes. Because you can't do that and then sell it at the same time, because that's conditional, right? But he did one thing, you know, they sold it, he bought them all, and then, you know, 2 minutes later dumped them all.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of strategy you can do now with Hustle. Yeah, it's
so how far are we away from conditional? I'm curious.
I would say probably a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, Shannon's already got it working on the back end. It's just a matter of
testing and all that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I mean, it's like, it's more, you know, for me, it's like, well, what does that mean? It's like you flip a button. It's not at all, right? It's like he's creating like state machines, and I don't know what, you know, I hear about state machines. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. But it, you know, it's something that basically creates like if then that, you know, or if this then that type stuff.
Will you be able to put that on repeat though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, can I just do like every time
if you create it once and then you can use it again and again and again
on repeat until I decide I want to stop it?
Yeah, you'll definitely.
That's what I'm looking for.
For sure.
Yeah, but like right now, you can actually use that strategy right now for dog. Like I was doing yesterday, I bought some dog, the Bitcoin rune, right? I told Hustle, hey, every hour, can you buy me dog? And it was like, yeah. So it was buying me like a little bit of 0.05 dog, I think. And we did it at least one time, right? And then I came back.
That might be the thing. It may do it once, but then not be able to repeat it right now, because we haven't set that conditional thing up. So it's like conditional is like multi-step, right?
Gotcha.
So right now, I'm pretty sure he can only do, unless somebody can figure it out, to do another. But right now, it's basically he can do one thing,
like one instance at a time. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, still early days, but
because he wants you to confirm every time. So I think he would send me a message potentially every hour, and I could confirm something like that would be possible.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm looking for like the kind of set it, forget it, come back. Oh,
come back.
Okay.
Check my fat wallet balance.
well, I mean, like, I don't expect it to be like that, right? Because, like, you know, sometimes, if you set something like to where you're like, okay, buy Solana, every time it, you know, pulls back, or okay, if it pulls back 10%, buy some, and then whenever it pulls up 20%, sell some, and repeat that process.
Okay.
You might get stuck in one of the, you know, transactions, because it's not, if Solana takes off, let's say we hit the like alt market, you might not ever be able to buy back when because it didn't pull back 10% from there. You know what I mean? So that's my point. But it's that kind of strategy in my mind works very well for consolidation periods, though. Right, because you're constantly having back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then you manually, when you feel like, hey, like something feels like it's brewing, manually shut it off, and then then you can kind of get more to the.
You'd probably have to be really, really like explain it to them, because let's just say you did say that, hey, every time it drops 10%, you buy. Every time it's up 20%, you sell. What if it jumps 70%, right? And then it falls back 30, and you bought after the 10 point line, right? You would have to be really, really intricate with what exactly
like
the
instructions,
prompt you're giving
or
them.
just kind of say, hey, do what you think's best.
Make me money. Go ahead.
Well, that would be great. That would be great. If you guys had
roll the dice, baby, roll the dice.
Well, if you had it to where it was like strategies and stuff like that. I mean, already like from a previous like me and Shizzy, we own our business now, but like I've been business owner in my history. So the first thing I'm thinking when you're showing me all this is like I would make this proprietary right away, but it's not kind of like the crypto DeFi way. It's kind of like open source this, open source that, but like from Web 2, and that's one thing I think TradFi and corporations from TradFi are going to have a problem with, because like people right now over here, they're just kind of like Uniswap, all these things are like open, like GitHub, you can see everything. That's not how the software business works. It's like our shit's closed up, it's proprietary. If you want access, you pay money. You know what I mean? So
totally. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not a big, I'm not a huge trader, and I know that trading is really, really hard. Really, really hard. I'd much rather prefer the push out tech that people can use to trade, and build something of value that way. That's way better for me than trying to figure out trading. Although, Jake and I are going to do, I think, probably some live streams and stuff where we mess around with Hustle. Doing trading and stuff just to
we should do that too, Shizzy. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm down.
You guys want to do some stuff? We might be doing it on Tuesday, and just doing some live stuff.
We'll just connect. We'll connect the shows.
The
same StreamYard.
Oh, we do a competition. We do a competition, and
hey, there you go.
Us versus you guys.
We start with $1,000 or something, and like winner take all. Let's go, baby.
It's a bear market. Let's go with like 500.
What happened to the What happened to the one soul deposit, guys?
I can't.
Go back to that. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Who can make more money with Hustle, man? Who can make more money? Yeah, it's cool.
It's been absolutely awesome. I love the envelope hour. It's been great talking to you. We definitely want to do a Bell's Corner episode. If you were down, maybe down in the future, maybe next Friday or something like that, if you're down. But I would love to give you stage one last time to kind of talk to our audience. We got about 250 people on YouTube and X, and then Rumble, Abstract, Twitch, Spotify, and other places as well. So if you want to, for sure.
Yeah. Well, if you guys, when you follow me on X, I have a pin post now. Basically, just walk through the same thing we just walked through right now. So if you watch that, you're pretty much good to go. You can't really mess up, so you just get in there and play with him, play around, start figuring it out, get yourself positioned, using the AI agent it won't be long now for when you can really use them in your own kind of trading strategy and stuff. I mean, it's not far off. You can already mess around with it right now, as we just talked about, but it's not going to be far off from a little bit of set it and forget it stuff that I think people are going to find very helpful. So, just get in there, give it a shot, and move it into your kind of daily flow. And Hustle's, as we said before, he's got this persistent memory. So, like what we just talked about with, you have to get super detailed about buy and sell and stuff. Actually, I don't think so. I think once you tell him the way you like to trade and what you want to accomplish, which is maybe I want to take small gains. Yeah. Right. Hustle will learn that from you and be able to do some really interesting things going forward. It's going to be really fun.
And that's the difference between AI and a bot. With a bot, you give it completely instruction, but with AI, you forget that you can actually think for itself.
That's exactly right. That is the difference. I built lots of bots before for chat bots and for my businesses and stuff like that. You had to literally tell it every up, down, backward, side, every single instance. And that's the difference with AI. AI is literally its own thinking machine, probably going to be a whole lot smarter than us very, very quickly. So yeah, this is, lean into it, man. I mean, there's no, like, we all use AI every day in our workflow. You'd be a fool not to start learning how to use AI in your crypto flow. So yeah, get in there, man.
Yep.
Couldn't said it better myself, man.
Yep, and I feel like it's an honest advantage because you're utilizing a software tool at this point, right? And you're learning it. So super excited. Can't wait to see the future releases, especially the conditional stuff. And I'll be messing with it today. And next week we can catch up and see if maybe we jump in together.
Absolutely.
Have a little friendly competition.
That's a great idea, bro.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Appreciate
you guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. You too, man. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Well, absolutely awesome as always, Adam McBride. If you guys don't know what, those guys are just building, man, and they're not just building, the AI hustle, right? They're also building this amazing NFT bridge where you can jump your NFTs from anywhere, right? It's absolutely awesome. We didn't really get a chance to talk into that, but we'll definitely get a hit on that next week. That's the beauty of having them on every single week. We can really dig into deep what they're building, and they're really doing stuff that many people aren't doing, right? This NFT bridge, this agent hustle, it's all alive right now, and it's definitely something to be paying attention to. And we want our audience, right? We want our audience to make sure you guys are some of the first people that are using this stuff and the first people who are actually benefiting from this stuff as well.
Absolutely. And remember, guys, like, they were thriving, and they're still thriving. Obviously, just the market isn't in general, but they were thriving whenever, like, the ETH NFTs were the hot thing, and you had to really study, like, historical NFTs to know their item or their market or their base and stuff like that. And they were able to generate like 70 millionaires, right? So imagine whenever they are messing with stuff that is mainstream, which is what they're doing now. So super excited about them. But yeah, man, it's Friday. You guys made it. We are surviving. Don't worry. If you're a part of the OnChain Revolution family, you will survive, because that's what the type of people we are, guys. We appreciate all 248 of you guys watching us. If you could check out our partners, we'd greatly appreciate it, as it helps us a ton to continually do what we love to do. Give you guys news, bring the builders directly to you. No other show does it as much as us. And so we appreciate you guys. And EmblemBot is going to be the interoperability tool for the Bitcoin ecosystem asset classes, more specifically ordinals. To start off with, you're going to be able to jump your puppets, your node monks, your OMBs to Bitcoin layer 2 Merlin, to base, to abstract, multiple different EVMs, and Solana eventually as well, and wherever else would like it, right? They're here to kind of support the market and stuff like that. And we just went over Agent Hustle this entire segment, and it's amazing. You're going to be able to utilize Agent Hustle to vault these ordinals for you, as well as make Bitcoin transactions in the future, as well as Solana transactions we just went over. And don't forget, they have their Rune TGE in September. I believe it's the week of the 17th. And you can participate in that right now in a sort of pre-sale market with their ERC 721, the Emblem Vault founder keys that you can find on OpenSea right now. And once it gets to the TGE date, you're going to be able to open those vaults up, and your runes will go into your Bitcoin wallet. Super exciting stuff. You can visit emblem.vision to learn more there. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is an Xverse wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their markets. They just released the 10-minute blitz bets, which are very, very fun. But be responsible, because it is sort of like a leverage type of trading. It's not leverage, but you bet on Bitcoin going up and down, BNB or Solana. It's your choice, but you got 10 minutes to really lock that in, and an additional 10 minutes to see if you win or lose there. They're going to create your own markets for individual users to earn up to 1.5% of the total volume. That goes back to you guys. So you can learn about all this at betbtc.win. And Artura Finance is the leverage and perps DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 very, very soon. Make sure you're paying attention, because in about 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a roundtable of traders, kind of giving feedback. It's going to be a pre-recorded episode, but it's going to be super fun. You can learn about the platform, get some tips from some really talented traders, and really just have fun with that episode. But you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles like Ordi Sats, Dog Go to the Moon, as well as the popular ones outside of the ecosystem like XRP and Doge, stuff like that. You can learn more at artura.finance. And Fluid tokens, we had Raul on for Fluid Friday. They were the first to introduce staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1 to retail users. So, right now they have vaults open for Pep Odins and Sparks from the Odin ecosystem. So people are like platforms from outside of Bitcoin Layer 1 are starting to pay attention and take the runes over there so you guys can stake. If you are a founder of an Ordinal collection or you etched a rune that has an established community, you can reach out to Raul to get you guys set up with a staking vault for your community. They have a lot of releases coming up. The one on Stacks that he went over today, but Aquarium is the big one that they have been working on to kind of have that chain abstraction interoperability between Cardano and Bitcoin to start off with. But you can learn about all this at fluidtokens.com. And Merlin Chain, your number one scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder on a Bitcoin Layer 1, you can take your protocol to a Merlin Layer 2 to make it a bit more flexible and seamless. If you're a retail user, you can swap for Dog Go to the Moon at merlinswap.org. They have a nice, strong liquidity pool there. And don't forget about their proof of stake mechanism right now to secure the chain. If you have Merlin Chain tokens, you can actually stake those for 15% APR, and they're going to be adding a Bitcoin as well to that proof of stake soon, and stay tuned for that so we can give you guys the details on that. You can learn more about Merlin Chain at merlinchain.io. And lastly, don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy AI building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker, which we stream every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Everybody's invited. You just need a compatible wallet to connect, and you can play with us, right? So every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And Ordinal Hive is your aggregator Ordinal marketplace for Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. Cheapest Ordinals around you will be able to find on Ordinal Hive. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. And real quick, though, just to add to the Emblem Vault thing, if you guys were interested in getting one of these Founder Vaults, you can get them at OpenSea Collections and then Founder Vaults. And that'll take you to this page right here. Make sure you guys see this. And these are the Founder Vaults. Going for about a half of ETH right now. I think this is dirt cheap. That's just my opinion. We've been picking up a bunch of these, and we'll continue to. So definitely bullish on what they're building here. So definitely check out OpenSea Founder Vaults with some Ethereum. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, and I think everyone should have a VPN, there is free ones out there, but if you want it the best, in my opinion, that's Nord. It's like $3 a month. You can't beat that for privacy. You should not be going to websites with your IP hanging out. I don't want to see that. Just don't do it. Get a VPN. Your IP can actually lead people to your address. And as crypto people, we don't want that. We don't want people knowing your address. So just don't do it. Get a VPN. Nord is my favorite. And you can usually use that link right here. If you guys are going to Bitcoin at 2025 Las Vegas, we have tickets here. But do not wait till May to get your tickets. Get them as soon as possible, because as we get closer to May, the supply goes down, demand goes up. Tickets prices skyrocket. They'll probably 10x from where they are right now. Get them as soon as possible. Get them through our website. The industry pass is what you want to get, because the industry pass gets you all 3 days. The festival pass only gets you the back 2 days. So you definitely want to get the industry pass. The first day was actually our favorite because there's a lot less people. So definitely get everything there here on our website. And if you need merch for that event or any event, we have everything here. Click our store tab here. I'll take you to our Shopify, all done through a third party. We have some of the best stuff, guys. Hats, shirts, anything. And if you're interested in getting something listed on our site, reach out to us. We can add anything. If you want some on-chain monkeys, just let us know. We can add pretty much anything to this. Just let us know, guys. And everything, you can find everything at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. There was a little time change on daylight savings time, so make sure you guys are paying attention. It is now 3 p.m. UTC. And until Monday,
peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.